The fierce tiger was actually crying, because its beloved master was dying right before its eyes. With a thunderous roar, it carried its obsession through time as a beam of light. If there's another life, I'd gladly be human, just to fight by your side and stay with you forever. The white tiger had once been the general's loyal companion. After years of battles and life-or-death struggles, their bond had grown unbreakable. But on their final campaign, the general was betrayed by his own men, leading to the army's downfall. In his last moment, he used his body to shield the tiger from a fatal strike. He died with hatred still burning in his heart. Yet the tiger's unyielding spirit turned into a divine light, reincarnating into a young woman named Bai Qingyin. When Bai Qingyin opened her eyes, she saw a group of thugs plotting to take advantage of her. In a flash, she took down the nearest small fry without hesitation. Furious, the purple-haired woman screamed, "Kill my idiot sister. I'll take her place and marry the general myself." The moment she heard the general, Bai Qingyin froze. Could it be her master? Her eyes gleamed coldly as she cut down the remaining lowlives, leaving the purple-haired woman trembling. How did you become so strong? Don't kill me. I'm your sister. Father will never forgive you for this. I don't have a sister, or a father worth mentioning. Tell me, what's the name of this general you keep talking about? He's the famous General Song Huaying. His Majesty arranged your marriage to him, but out of jealousy I wanted to take your place. Hearing that, Bai Qingyin suddenly remembered. The imperial marriage decree was issued 3 years ago. The general had kept delaying it and the wedding never happened. So, I've been reborn 3 years in the past. That means, the general is still alive. The purple-haired woman sneered. Qingyin, you never liked the general anyway. Why not let me have him? I swear I'll... Smack. Her words were cut off by a hard slap across the face. Who said I don't like him? Since the emperor bestowed this marriage, I'll honor it. Meanwhile, at the Song residence, the general stood tall in a crimson robe, waiting for the ceremony to begin. Yet frustration filled his heart. He never had feelings for Bai Qingling. The wedding was just a formality to appease the emperor. As the auspicious hour passed, Song Huaying was ready to cancel the wedding, but right then Bai Qingling burst through the door. Seeing the general alive and well, she was overjoyed. She ran up and threw her arms around him. But Song Huaying shoved her away, shouting angrily, "How dare you touch me? It's me, little white tiger, Bai Ying. General, I have urgent military news to tell you in secret." Song Huaying froze in shock. Bai Ying. That was the name of the baby tiger he once rescued years ago. How could this woman possibly know that? "Woman, I know your name is Bai Qingyin," he said coldly. "But someone like you isn't worthy of that name." With a sharp command, his servants immediately surrounded Bai Qingyin. But as a reincarnated white tiger, she wasn't someone mere mortals could subdue. In just one breath, every servant hit the ground. Song Huaying's suspicion deepened. Bai Qingyin was supposed to be frail and sickly. How could she possess such power? "How dare you act so wildly?" he shouted. Though defiant by nature, Bai Qingyin didn't dare truly defy him, allowing the servants to escort her away. As she turned back, she smiled and murmured, "There's only one man in this world who could ever capture me alive, and that's you, General." After causing chaos in the Song estate, Bai Qingyin was locked in a side hall under strict watch. But how could wooden doors and iron tiles hold down a tiger descending from the mountains? With a single leap, she landed on the roof. Then, silently, she slipped beneath the general's desk, the same spot that had once been her resting place as his loyal tiger. Song Huaying looked under his desk, his face darkening the moment he saw Bai Qingyin crouched there. "Are you out of your mind? What the hell are you doing down there?" "General, it's me, you're Bai Ying. I can prove it. You've got 2 blade scars on your chest, 1 sword wound on your lower back and claw marks on your leg, from when I scratched you as a cub." "Enough. Bai Qingyin, who sent you to mess with my head? How do you know about those scars?" "General, I swear I really am Bai Ying," she pleaded. But how could any sane man believe something so impossible? Song Huaying's patience snapped. He ordered his men to flog her immediately. Bai Qingyin snatched up a stool and hurled it toward the approaching servants. Yet at the last second, fearing she might hurt the general, she held her power back, only to suffer a painful internal backlash. "General, I'd never do anything to hurt you. With those final words, Bai Qingyin's vision went dark and she collapsed to the ground. Song Huaying froze, muttering under his breath, this woman, she got hurt because of me? The next morning, Bai Qingyin woke up scratching her head, grumbling to herself, seriously, humans are way too fragile. Just a minor injury and I'm out cold for a whole night. The servants who came to attend her still mocked her with sneering faces. When she saw the food they brought, nothing but a bowl of wilted greens, Bai Qingyin slammed the table. Have you ever seen a tiger eat leaves? One maid snorted. A concubine from the side hall, still picky about food. You're lucky to eat it all. Bai Qingyin's eyes turned sharp. In a flash, she grabbed the servant by the throat and growled, don't you know tigers only eat meat? No meat? Then I'll just eat you. Let go. This is the general's mansion. If you cause trouble, the master will throw you out. The maid gasped in terror. Hearing that, Bai Qingyin flung her aside. You really think I'm some sick cat just because I've been quiet? She snarled that I'm the general's tiger, and for the rest of his life, he'll never get rid of me. Got it? A thunderous tiger's roar echoed through the courtyard, sending the servants trembling and dropping to their knees. Just then Song Huaying stepped into view. Before the servants could complain, Bai Qingyin grabbed his arm and started whining. General, they bullied me and didn't even give me any food. General, that's not true. One servant stammered that we just weren't done preparing the dishes yet. Bai Qingyin pouted, pointing at the bowl of greens. When you used to feed me, it was always pork knuckles, braised belly and ribs. Now they're giving me leaves. Song Huaying frowned. Since when did I ever feed you pork knuckles? This isn't a noble's mansion full of luxuries. If you're unhappy here, you can leave. I don't need luxuries, she protested. Just give me some meat, that's all I want. Seeing the general's growing irritation, Bai Qingyin looked down, her eyes shimmering with hurt. But not wanting to be sent away, she gave in and quietly began eating plain rice. Watching her silently endure for his sake, something in Song Huaying's heart softened. His voice suddenly thundered across the hall. Did I ask this what passes for food in my mansion? Feeding her scraps and leftovers? From now on, every meal will be prepared exactly as I order it. Anyone who dares neglect my command, get out of my sight. The servants panicked and dropped to their knees, begging for mercy. Seeing the general stand up for her, Bai Qingyin was so touched she nearly burst into tears. Don't get the wrong idea, Song Huaying said flatly, that I just don't want rumors spreading and tarnishing the Song family's name. Still, seeing how obedient she looked, he let the matter drop. Tomorrow we're hosting a victory banquet. Don't cause any trouble. Just stay put and behave. The moment she heard banquet, a thought flashed through Bai Qingyin's mind. That traitor Jili would be attending. It was the perfect chance to end him once and for all. The next day she marched into the banquet hall, holding the leg of a broken stool like a weapon. Ugh, being human sucks, she muttered. No fangs, no claws. Guess the stick will have to do. Just then her sister Bai Qingling appeared, arm in arm with the crown prince. My poor sister. Bai Qingling said mockingly. I heard the general got tired of you and locked you up. Bai Qingyin didn't even bother to look at her. Bai Qingling snapped, stop right there, you damn woman, ignoring me again. You want another beating? Suddenly, the crown prince stepped in front of Bai Qingyin. With a smirk, he said, I've heard you've been infatuated with me for quite some time. Unfortunately, I'm not interested in weak, sickly women. Bai Qingyin chuckled coldly. Oh, what if you're a prince? You're still not fit to compare with the general. The prince's eyes narrowed. Oh. So this is how General Song teaches his people to treat royalty? Thud. Bai Qingyin swung the stool leg right into his face without hesitation. Planting her foot firmly on his chest, she snarled, say one more bad word about the general, and this tiger will smash you every single time. The pampered prince, who'd never been humiliated in his life, froze. But instead of anger, a strange spark flickered in his chest, an unfamiliar thrill. Bai Qingling quickly rushed to his side. Your Highness, please don't be angry. I'll have my father punish Bai Qingyin for you. The prince waved her off, a faint smile playing on his lips. No need. That Bai Qingyin, she's quite an interesting woman. I'll let it slide this time. His gaze lingered on her as she walked away, and he murmured under his breath, Bai Qingyin, if General Song doesn't want you, perhaps I'll claim you for myself. Meanwhile, at the victory banquet, Bai Qingyin slowly pushed open the wooden doors. Holding the leg of a broken stool like a weapon, she stormed inside. Finally found you. Her voice dripped with fury. Ji Li, you're the reason the general and I were torn apart by death itself. Today, I'll end you in his name. Her eyes burned with rage as she glared at him like a predator ready to strike. Just as she was about to move, Song Huaying stepped forward and stopped her. Enough. Put away that killing intent right now. But Bai Qingyin, who knew the truth from 3 years in the future, couldn't possibly explain it to him now. I wasn't gonna fight, she stammered. I just wanted to ask, how do you fix a broken chair leg? Song Huaying's tone turned cold. Did I not warn you to stay in the side hall? Disobey me again and you'll regret it. General. Bai Ying only wanted to protect you, she shouted desperately. You don't believe me? Fine, then I'll show you the real him. Moments later, a servant brought in a small white tiger, the very cub named Bai Ying. Song Huaying froze. That's impossible. Did he remembered the tiger dying years ago? Yet Bai Qingyin claimed to be its reincarnation. How could both exist? Suddenly, the general's eyes darkened as he shoved Bai Qingyin aside and said icily, since you like Bai Ying so much, then you can become his meal. The tiger lunged fiercely and everyone thought Bai Qingyin would be torn apart on the spot. But the tiger spirit within her flared to life, making the little white cub tremble in fear. Don't be mad, sis. I just wanted to play with you, the cub whimpered. Bai Qingyin froze in shock. She could actually understand what it was saying. The little white tiger rubbed against her affectionately, nuzzling her like a child seeking comfort. Woman and beast clung to each other, leaving the entire hall silent and filled with awe. What the hell is going on with this woman? Someone gasped. How can she be that close to my battle tiger? Bai Qingyin leaned down and whispered to the cub, instructing it to pin Ji Li down. At her sharp command, the little white tiger pounced, sinking its fangs deep into Ji Li's arm. Bai Qingyin seized the moment, leaping forward with her blade aimed straight for his heart. Victory was just within reach, until the general's sword flashed between them. A wet shriek echoed through the hall, and the blade pierced straight into Bai Qingyin's abdomen. Memories of the future flashed through Bai Qingyin's mind, but her killing intent refused to fade. Ji Li, you'll die here today. Steel clashed, sparks flew, and Ji Li's dagger was knocked clean out of his hand by the general's blade. You let go at that range. Are you trying to die, Bai Qingyin? Song Huaying barked. General, I'm not afraid of death, she whispered, but her strength was gone. She fell to the ground, eyes dim with regret and sorrow. Her lips trembled as she murmured, General, Bai Ying only ever wanted to protect you, nothing more. Just then the Crown Prince Li Ling walked in with a faint smile. Such a shame, he said. This beauty was just defending you moments ago, and now you've wounded her yourself. How about you hand her over to me instead? Your Highness, Song Huaying replied coldly, she's my wife. The prince smirked. Oh, the great general can't bear to part with her? She's just a woman, he began. But Bai Qingyin's weak voice cut through the air. General, I'm sorry. Please don't leave me. I don't want to be a stray tiger anymore. Song Huaying shoved Bai Qingyin's hand away and ordered, lock her in the dungeon. Hearing that she wasn't being sent away, Bai Qingyin's tense heart finally eased a little. After everyone left, the general sat alone, restless and conflicted. What's wrong with that woman? I stabbed her, yelled at her, and she still doesn't hate me. Suddenly, the little white tiger bit his sleeve, tugging hard and dragging him toward the dungeon. You want me to go save her? He asked quietly. The cub nodded eagerly. She tried to kill me in front of everyone. Locking her up was mercy enough. The cub's eyes suddenly flashed with anger, and it began rampaging through the room, smashing furniture and shredding curtains until the entire place was a wreck. Song Huaying sighed in defeat. Fine. Stop tearing the place apart, I'll go see her. In the dungeon below, Bai Qingyin lay weak and pale, barely conscious. The purple-haired woman sauntered in, a cruel smile curling on her lips. So sister, how does the dungeon feel? She sneered. If you'd just given up the title of general's wife to me back then, you wouldn't be suffering like this now. If it were you, you'd be dead already. No chance of ending up in a dungeon. You filthy wench. You actually think the general will pity you? Rot here and die. I'll take your place, become Lady Song, and I'll love the general properly. Just then a deep, commanding voice echoed into the dungeon. "What are you even? You think you deserve to be my wife?" Bai Qingyin saw the general and tried to step forward, but her hand froze in midair. After being stabbed, she was terrified he might drive her away again. The general frowned. Her timid, cowering behavior struck him as very strange. She used to cling to him, yet now she recoiled and would not step forward. Bai Qingshui then stepped up to speak to the general, but he met her with a cold face. He turned to the servants and said, "Since when are rats and vermin allowed into my manor's dungeon?" The servant hurriedly fell to his knees. "Forgive us, General. We'll remove her at once." But Bai Qingshui refused to give up, pretending to be fragile to win sympathy. "Let go, you filthy woman." Bai Qingshui blurted, terrified. "General, don't you have any pity for a delicate lady?" The general replied coldly, "I only recognize the living and the dead. If you don't leave now, I won't hesitate to make you sleep forever." At those words, Bai Qingshui trembled in fear. But before she could flee, the general spoke again, his voice ice cold. "If I hear you say you'll marry into the Song household one more time, don't expect to keep your tongue." Terrified, Bai Qingshui bolted away. The sight only sent Bai Qingyin into deeper panic. "If he drove her out, will I be next?" She cried out, voice shaking. "General, you promised to take me to war. Please, don't abandon me." Song Huang froze. How could he possibly know what I whispered to the white tiger? He demanded coldly, "Then why did you try to stab Jili?" Bai Qingyin answered, "Jili is a traitor. 3 years from now, he'll kill you." The general scoffed, "Let's set aside these wild claims. How do you know the future? And even if Jili planned to betray me, produce proof." Bai Qingyin whispered, "I have no proof. But if you don't believe me, of course you won't take me in." Her chest ached. How could a person feel such pain? Song Huang studied her, his gaze clear as water, and decided to grant her a chance to live. "Your father, Marquis Chongling, is my sworn enemy. That if you can rescue my men from his estate, I'll spare your life." Bai Qingyin leapt for joy when the general offered her a chance. "As long as you don't drive me away, I'll do anything," she cried. Seeing her trust, Song Huang felt a pang. "What's wrong with this woman? I stabbed her and she still wants to stay by my side." He summoned his confidant He Ling to tend to Bai Qingyin's wounds. But He Ling harbored a deep grudge. He treated her like a thorn to be removed. Bai Qingyin recognized He Ling all too well. In her past life, jealous and reckless, she'd repeatedly tangled with the general and even bitten He Ling several times. The memory returned. Yes, she had once bitten him in a jealous fit. He Ling sneered, "So you tricked the general with that tiger act, huh? Do yourself a favor and stay away from him. I'll save lives, and I'll take them. Understand?" Suddenly, Bai Qingyin grabbed He Ling by the collar and whispered, "Oh, then let's see who's stronger." With a brutal shove, she slammed He Ling against the wall. She warned coldly, "If you want me dead, you won't live to see it. Try me." Animals aren't weaker than humans. By morning, Bai Qingyin had fully recovered. Bai Qingyin, still basking in pride, suddenly ran into her enemy Jili. She glared at him and said coldly, "Jili, one day I'll tear you apart myself." Jili sneered, "What fierce killing intent, from such a little girl." He added mockingly, "I'll wait for you to bite me, if you can even stay alive that long." Jili then relayed a message to Bai Qingyin. The general would wait for her in the bamboo grove. Bai Qingyin recalled how reckless she'd been. She'd nearly died, and decided she needed a different approach. Fuming, she headed to the bamboo grove. But the moment she saw the general, she couldn't help it. She got smug again, eyes sparkling with joy. The general said, "Your wounds have healed. Prepare to depart and rescue my men from Marquis Chongling's estate." Okay, I'll do whatever you say, General," she chirped. But before she could celebrate, another scheme closed in. Worried she might flee, the general had He Ling brew a devour heart pill. If taken and not cured within 5 days, the poison would kill her. The general ordered, "Take it now, Bai Qingyin. You leave tomorrow." Bai Qingyin asked softly, "General, do you not trust me?" He Ling sneered, "What's wrong? Scared now? Didn't you swear you'd stay by the general's side? Then eat it or don't if you'd rather chicken out." Before the general could even respond, Bai Qingyin leapt like a tiger springing from the mountain. She snatched the devour heart pill and gulped it down in one go. He Ling froze. "Bai Qingyin, are you insane? Do you have a death wish? But she just smiled, completely unfazed. Did I feel great that if the general has no more orders, I'll start getting ready. Yiling frowned at Do you even know what you just swallowed? Of course, Bai Qingyin replied matter-of-factly. It's poison, isn't it? Then aren't you afraid you'll fail the mission and die before you finish it? But Bai Qingyin wasn't afraid of death at all. She looked deadly serious. I'll finish the mission, no matter what. If the general dies, what's the point of me living? What I fear most is not being by your side. Song Huaying froze for a moment. Could she really be? Yiling warned coldly. General, Bai Qingyin's behavior is strange. Perhaps we should. Silence. I'll handle this myself, Song Huaying snapped. The next day, Marquis Chongling personally led his men to welcome Bai Qingyin. Bai Qingshui whispered, Father, are you certain Bai Qingyin was gravely wounded? The Marquis replied firmly, I saw it with my own eyes. She won't live long. Stay away from Bai Qingyin for now. She's still useful to me. At that moment, a grand sedan chair carried by 4 bearers slowly arrived. The crowd gasped in awe at the lavish and intricate design. The silk curtains lifted gently. Inside sat Bai Qingyin, breathtakingly beautiful. How is that possible? The general not only healed her but sent her back in such luxury. Bai Qingyin couldn't care less about them. She brushed off Marquis Chongling and Lady Wang's concern. Don't bother me. I'm doing just fine at the general's estate. As she stepped into the courtyard, a pack of fierce dogs suddenly lunged at her. Bai Qingshui called out mockingly, Sister, these puppies aren't very gentle. Don't let them bite you to death. Mere dogs challenging a tiger. Bai Qingyin released her tiger aura, and the pack immediately cowered, trembling like harmless huskies. Mercy, Great One. Please don't eat us. The dogs whimpered. Bai Qingyin blinked in surprise. Wait, I can actually understand them. Maybe because I'm a tiger there's no language barrier with animals. At Bai Qingyin's command, the dogs charged straight at Bai Qingshui, tearing into her until she was covered in bite marks. Bai Qingyin, you've gone too far. Qingshui is your sister. Someone shouted. Bai Qingyin replied coldly, they're your dogs. What does that have to do with me? Marquis Chongling finally intervened, ending the chaos. Lady Wang screamed, Bai Qingyin, you dared hurt my daughter. I'll never forgive you. Meanwhile, General Song was secretly following Bai Qingyin's movements. He instructed his men, if her condition changes, report to me immediately. At the same time, Marquis Chongling finally showed his true colors. He intended to use Bai Qingyin's identity to plant her as a spy inside the general's estate, to learn Song Huaying's every move. When Bai Qingyin showed little reaction, he switched tactics, grabbing her hand and crying, my dear daughter, your old father can't last much longer. Serving an emperor is like living beside a tiger. If our family is to rise again, only you can make it happen. Bai Qingyin scoffed. What's wrong with serving a tiger? Did the tiger ever offend you? That's species discrimination. Marquis Chongling froze, utterly dumbfounded by her retort. Before he could speak again, a man in green burst into the room. He grabbed Bai Qingyin's hand, saying urgently, Ying, don't be afraid. I'm here. No one will dare touch you. This man was Bai Qing, her elder brother, adopted by her late mother and the only person in the Marquis's household who truly cared for her. Marquis Bai Qing snapped, sending Ying as a spy is suicide. She respects her elders, but she won't obey such madness. The two men immediately clashed, their words sharp and heated. Bai Qingyin, meanwhile, stood aside watching the chaos with a grin, clearly enjoying the show. Marquis Chongling roared, Bai Qingyin, are you here to watch a circus? Are you going or not? Bai Qingyin shrugged. No fight after all. Boring, whatever, I'd better focus on finding the general's men first. Bai Qing couldn't help but burst out laughing, dying. When did you get so funny? Bai Qingyin fumed. Funny my ass. Believe it or don't, this damned female body really dulls my tiger's pride. Meanwhile, General Song was planning to sneak into the Marquis's estate at night to investigate his missing men. One of his aides hesitated. General, shouldn't we at least have an excuse? He smirked. My wife has returned to her family, and I miss her so deeply that I can't sleep. That's my excuse. Back at the Marquis's estate, Bai Qingyin had turned the place upside down looking for the general's men, but found nothing. Then an idea struck her. She summoned her wolf squad. Here, great king, this bone is for you. Ugh, this tastes worse than vegetables. Go sniff around and see if there's a secret tunnel or hidden door. At her command, the pack of little mutts scattered in all directions, launching a full-scale search. Just as Bai Qingyin was feeling proud of herself, she spotted Bai Qin surrounded by attackers. Marky Chongling roared, "You unfilial brat! You dare defy me in public! I'll rid the world of your disgrace today." Bai Qin shot back coldly, "Don't pretend to be righteous, that I'm nothing more than one of your pawns." As both sides clashed in chaos, Bai Qingyin grinned, fangs gleaming with excitement. "Fight! Count me in." Snow and dust flew, screams echoed through the courtyard. She clapped her hands afterward, unimpressed at "That's it. Pathetic." Bai Qin stared in shock. "When did Ayin get this strong?" "Bai Qin, you'd really stand up for that bastard?" Bai Qingyin smirked, "He's the one person who actually cares about me, and from now on he's under my protection, got it?" Bai Qin stood frozen. Is that really my gentle little sister?" Just then General Song appeared, walking slowly toward them. He smiled faintly. "Marquis Chongling's estate is lively tonight. I hope you don't mind a visit from me?" The Marquis forced a smile. "General, a late-night visit. What brings you here?" Song Huaying replied evenly, "I missed my wife. Surely the Marquis doesn't mind me seeing her?" Of course. It would be our honor if the General and Madam stayed the night." Bai Qingyin quickly protested, "General, you can't. If I leave, my little brother here will get bullied." The General raised an eyebrow. "You recruited little brothers? Quite the capable lady, aren't you?" Bai Qingyin grinned. "Oh, stop flattering me, or I'll get arrogant." The General huffed. "You actually think I'm complimenting you?" Bai Qin jumped in nervously. "General, don't misunderstand. I'm just Ayin's sworn brother. If you and Madam wish to rest, I won't intrude." But Bai Qingyin couldn't help herself. "General, I'm still full of energy. I can fight a few more rounds." The General's face darkened as he grabbed her by the wrist and dragged her away. As they left, Bai Qingyin called back, "Don't worry, Bai Qin. If trouble comes, I've got your back." Back in the bedroom, General Song cornered Bai Qingyin against the wall, his arm blocking her way. "Have you forgotten why you came here?" he asked coldly. Bai Qingyin looked up seriously. "General, you're the most important person to me. Even if I die, I'll finish my mission." "Sweet words again," he muttered. But Bai Qingyin grinned and suddenly threw herself into his arms. "I swear I'm not lying. That old geezer told me to spy on you, but I'd never do that to you, General." Song Huaying studied her expression. She didn't look like she was lying, so he let it go. "Enough. It's late. Get some rest," he said quietly. Her eyes lit up instantly and she leapt onto the bed. "Then General, let's sleep together." The General froze. "Bai Qingyin, what do you think you're doing? Do you even know what you're saying?" he demanded. "Of course," she replied with confidence. "I want to sleep on top of you." Back when she was a tiger, she used to curl up beside him every night. Now it had been far too long. General Song frowned, his voice stern. "Bai Qingyin, are you really trying to seduce your commander?" Bai Qingyin blinked innocently. "General, I don't understand what you mean, but if it's for you, I'm willing to offer myself." That expression. "She looks ready to die for the cause," he thought in disbelief. Does she really not understand what romance even means? Suddenly Bai Qingyin leaned in and licked him. The General jolted in shock. "Bai Qing, you insolent girl." But for a white tiger, that gesture simply meant affection toward its master. "Your clothes are a mess. Fix yourself, have some decency," he barked, flustered. Yet the clumsy little tiger girl clearly had no idea how to handle skirts. And no matter how she tried, it only got worse. "Are you even a normal woman? You can't even do this properly," he sighed. "Forget it. I'll fix it for you this once, but never again." He gently tied her sash and straightened her robe himself. Bai Qingyin looked up in awe. "General, you really can do everything." "Don't forget why you're here," General Song said coldly. "Have you found the person I asked for?" "Not yet," Bai Qingyin admitted nervously, his tone hardened. "Then remember this. 3 days from now the poison will take your life." She suddenly smiled. "Oh, are you worried about me, General?" "I'm simply reminding you of your duty," he said, turning his head away. Then why is your face red, General?" she teased. Song Huaying flinched and quickly averted his gaze. Without another word, he tossed a small vial toward her. He assumed she'd figure out what was inside, so he didn't bother explaining. Just then a sharp eagle cry cut through the night sky. Song Huaying caught the message scroll midair. His expression changed. The front lines were under attack, but he turned on his heel and left immediately. Bai Qingyin stood there, blinking, clutching the vial in her hand, completely dazed. What's this supposed to be? She thought, oh well, since it's from the general, I'll keep it safe no matter what. After returning to his manor, Song Huaying immediately gathered his men, preparing to lead the army to the front lines himself. Jili, your sister is still held in Marquis Chongling's estate. You'll stay here, he said sternly. But Jili feigned righteousness, declaring, General, I swear to follow you to the death. In truth, betrayal had already taken root in his heart. That I've been planning this for years. This campaign will be my chance. The great general stood tall, armored and resolute, unaware that danger was quietly closing in. He Ling stepped forward cautiously. General, if you depart, no one will be watching Bai Qingyin. After all, her father is Marquis Chongling. Song Huaying's eyes darkened at He Ling. I'll warn you one last time. Focus on your own duties. Bai Qingyin is none of your concern. Hearing that, He Ling's face twisted with jealousy. That damn Bai Qingyin. What spell did she cast on the general? Meanwhile, Bai Qingyin was jolted awake early in the morning by her pack of pups. Boss, we found the dungeon, they barked. Overjoyed, Bai Qingyin jumped up and dashed after them. They stopped beside a rocky hill in the garden. There she spotted a hidden mechanism. One press and a secret door slid open. Good work, boys, she said, waving them off before slipping into the dark passage alone. Inside, a few burly men were carrying what looked like a corpse. Hey, who said you could kill her? She shouted. With one powerful kick, she sent a man flying. I went through all that trouble and you idiots leave me a dead body? Bai Qingyin grabbed the limp body and shook it frantically. Swear. Don't die on me. How am I supposed to face the general? Suddenly, a faint voice whispered, Stop yelling, idiot. I'm right here. When Bai Qingyin saw that Shuer was still alive, she burst into tears of relief. Thank heavens, you're alive, so I don't have to die either. Shuer stared at her in disbelief. The general sent this idiot to save me. With a loud crack, Bai Qingyin bent the iron bars apart with ease. What did you just say? Bai Qingyin asked, tilting her head. Nothing, Shuer stammered, stunned by her absurd strength. Bai Qingyin scooped Shuer up and bolted toward the exit. But she had no idea. Shuer was known as the Venom Maiden, and her blood was laced with deadly poison. You can't carry me like this. You'll get poisoned. It's fine. Just don't move, Bai Qingyin said firmly, holding her even tighter. Suddenly, Bai Qingshui spotted them and shouted for the servants to attack. Bai Qingyin kicked Bai Qingshui square in the face, using the momentum to leap away. But as more men swarmed in, even she found it hard to fight them all at once. Just then Bai Qin arrived, cutting down wave after wave of enemies to protect her. Go, leave this to me, he shouted. Thanks, brother. When I'm done we'll drink till we drop. Bai Qingyin grinned. Shuer flicked her finger, sending a droplet of her blood flying. It shot straight into Bai Qingshui's mouth. Huh? What did you just feed her? Bai Qingyin asked, confused. My blood's poisoned, but she'll be writhing in agony any moment now, Shuer replied coldly. Whoa, Shuer, you're amazing, Bai Qingyin exclaimed with genuine admiration. Shuer, shunned by others all her life, froze for a moment. No one had ever praised her before. Her heart softened toward Bai Qingyin. But soon more assassins appeared. Bai Qingyin readied herself to fight. The poison flared violently through her body, leaving her completely paralyzed. The assassin's blade gleamed coldly as it thrust toward them. Bai Qingyin moved on instinct, throwing herself in front of Shuer. You idiot! Do you have a death wish? Shuer shouted. The general told me to protect you. I won't let you die, Bai Qingyin gasped through clenched teeth. At the very last moment, Shuer flicked her hand and droplets of toxic blood exploded into a mist, poisoning the assassins where they stood. Shuer glared at her and snapped, Bai Qingyin, who told you to meddle in my business? Her tone was sharp and annoyed, yet deep down she had already acknowledged Bai Qingyin's courage and sincerity. Bai Qingyin weakly carried Shuer back to the general's mansion, only to hear from the steward that the general had already marched to Yong City. Memories flooded her mind. During that same battle years ago, the The general nearly died. It was only thanks to her, back when she was a white tiger, that his life was spared. The general's in danger. I have to save him, she shouted. But her frail human body gave out and she collapsed before she could take another step. Bai Qingyin, wake up, Shuer cried out in panic. Suddenly, a small green vial rolled out from Bai Qingyin's robe. Shuer picked it up and sniffed it. The antidote to the heart-eater pill? This idiot. Why didn't she take it? Without hesitation she poured the antidote into Bai Qingyin's mouth. But it was too late. The poison had already spread beyond cure. Gripping her hand tightly, Shuer whispered, "Don't worry, as long as I'm here, nothing will happen to you." On the battlefield, General Song Huaying's army was surrounded on all sides. He ordered Ji Li to call for reinforcements while he stayed behind to hold the line. Ji Li pretended to hesitate, feigning loyalty, but his heart was dark and treacherous. "My dear general," he sneered under his breath, "this is where you die." At that very moment, Bai Qingyin jolted awake from her coma. The poison still burned in her veins, but worry for the general gave her strength. She had to reach Yong City. Suddenly, a familiar roar echoed outside the manor. She threw open the window. It was Little White, pounding desperately at the gate. Bai Qingyin rushed out, kicked open the door and shouted, "Why didn't you go with the general?" She muttered, "Back in the last battle of Yong City, the general only survived because I was there. If Little White stayed behind this time, there was no more time to think." Bai Qingyin leapt onto the tiger's back and together, they dashed toward Yong City at full speed. When she reached the outskirts of the fortress, Bai Qingyin's heart sank at the sight of the battlefield littered with broken armor and blood-stained snow. "I can, but only with acupuncture to hold her condition steady, to stop the poison from spreading." Song asked quietly, "Why is she so badly injured?" Shuer snapped, "She threw herself in front of a blade meant for you. This grand mansion has guards everywhere. Yet she was the one bleeding for you. Tell me, General, were you testing her loyalty?" Sima Chung barked, "Shuer, watch your tone before the general." "Watch my tone." She shot back, voice shaking with anger, "I'll speak the truth. You'll all regret your blindness soon enough." Her eyes welled with tears, but her words were fierce. "You fools. General, do you know Bai Qingyin stormed the Marquis's manor, saving me while half dead? Do you know she fought through poison just to reach you in Yongqing? Do you know she holds you dearer than her own life? Her arms, her hands, they're covered in frostbite scars." Shuer's voice broke as she shouted, "General, can't you see? The life you're clinging to, it's hers. She bought it with her own blood." Song Huaying froze, his gaze turning distant as fragments of memory flickered through his mind. That shadowy figure shielding him in the storm, it had always been Bai Qingyin. She was saving me all along. And his voice cracked with guilt. Sima Ching stepped forward. "General, when I returned, I ordered He Ling to treat Bai Qingyin. Why does she still look half dead?" Every pair of eyes in the room turned toward He Ling. Cold sweat poured down her back as she stammered, "General, don't believe him. Bai Qingyin tried to assassinate Ji Li in front of everyone. Why would I waste effort healing a traitor?" Suddenly, Shuer's silver needle flashed through the air, flying straight toward He Ling. A sharp "Z" echoed as the needle struck its mark, piercing her pressure points. He Ling collapsed to her knees in pain. She screamed in panic, "General, please help me." Shuer said coldly, "That woman is poisonous. She clearly wanted Bai Qingyin dead. I spared her life out of respect for you, General." He Ling snorted, "Humph. The general despises betrayal among kin. If you strike me in public, you will be punished." To everyone's surprise, Song Huaying remained silent, and then pardoned Shuer for her outburst. He Ling snapped, "What is this? That venomous woman attacked me in the open, and you forgive her?" Song's expression hardened. "He Ling, I remember you as an old comrade. I don't want to doubt your loyalty. So why did you hide the truth?" He Ling fell silent, her face drained of color. She had no answer. Song Huaying's voice grew cold. "Do you truly not know that Bai Qingyin was the one who saved my life? Are you certain you can't heal her?" He Ling clenched her teeth, forcing calm. "General, her wounds are far too severe. I truly can't save her." Song Huaying said coldly, "Very well. It seems I've overestimated your skills." As his words sank in, He Ling's face turned pale. She knew the general was about to strip her of her position. "Xiujie Si Ma," the general ordered, Take He Ling to the dungeon that she'll await judgment there. General, tear open her shirt. I'll pull the dagger out, someone shouted urgently. Bai Qingyin remembered that their marriage had long been a hollow title, but there was no time for that now. Song Huaying didn't hesitate. He ripped open her garment to expose the wound, buying time to treat it. He held her tightly, trying to steady her trembling body. Shuer acted on instinct. She lunged forward and yanked the dagger free in a clean, decisive motion. A cry of pain escaped Bai Qingyin as the injury flared. If it hurts, bite me. Hold on, I'm here. General, don't worry. As the healer drove needles and applied treatments with rapid precision, Bai Qingyin gritted her teeth against the stabbing, gut-wrenching pain. Tears streamed down her face, but she clenched her jaw and forced herself through the worst of it. Shuer pulled out the last silver needle and quickly wrapped Bai Qingyin's wound with a clean bandage. It's finally over, Bai Qingyin, can you hear me? General. Don't worry. Bai Qingyin murmured weakly before passing out once again. General, her life's no longer in danger, Shuer said firmly. But she must rest. No more injuries, no more shocks. Song Huaying looked down at her pale face, his voice low and resolute. I swear, I'll never let her be hurt again. Shuer had saved Bai Qingyin's life, but the hatred she felt for He Ling still cut like a blade. She strode up to the dungeon and stepped into its cold shadow. He Ling lunged at her like a rabid dog, furious and unrestrained. He Ling snarled, "You lowly thing, don't think you're special just because you saved her. Even I, the poison woman, am not as vicious as you." Shuer shot back icily, "You dared to try and kill my savior. Then I'll make you feel what it's like to have your heart torn out." With that, Shuer drove a silver needle into He Ling's pressure points. Steady, precise, unyielding. She said, cold as steel, "The general spared your life, but he never ordered me to treat you kindly." Then Shuer added, voice low, "This needle carries a slow-acting toxin. It'll wear off after 3 days. But for those 3 days you will writhe in agony. How dare you attack the general's allies? What kind of spell did Bai Qingyin put on you to make you all obey him like puppets?" He Ling spat. "Bai Qingyin is the general's lawful wife," Shuer snapped coldly. "And you, a servant, dare to compare yourself to her? How ridiculous. Enjoy it while it lasts, Dr. Lady." He Ling screamed in rage, her eyes burning with hatred. "Bai Qingyin, poison witch, you ruined my future. I'll never forgive either of you." At that moment, Bai Qingyin, exhausted from Shuer's treatment, had fallen into a deep sleep. Sitting beside her, Song Huaying gently brushed his fingers over her cold, delicate hand. The faint warmth stirred her fading life force back to light. Slowly, Bai Qingyin's eyelids fluttered open. The general pulled her gently into his arms. "I'm sorry, Bai Qingyin. It's my fault that I let you get hurt this badly." Her wide, innocent eyes filled with surprise at his tone. "He's never spoken to me like this before. What happened while I was asleep?" Song Huaying cupped her face, his eyes soft and filled with regret. "No matter what you wish to be by my side," he said quietly, "I'll agree to it." Bai Qingyin blinked, startled. "General, anything?" "Of course," he smiled gently, "as long as it's what you want." Song Huaying had thought she'd ask to become his wife, but to his surprise, Bai Qingyin chose the role of his personal guard. She said proudly, "That way I can protect you all the time." "You don't want to be my wife?" the general asked, taken aback. "Being your guard is way more important than being your wife," she replied with utter seriousness. The corner of his mouth twitched. The general's face darkened in disbelief. Seeing this, Bai Qingyin quickly put on her best pitiful look, her big eyes blinking nervously. Song Huaying sighed, helpless against this stubborn little tiger, and finally nodded. Overjoyed, Bai Qingyin literally jumped with excitement, grinning from ear to ear. Just then, the traitor Jili staggered in, covered in wounds, claiming to bring a report. He knelt dramatically, pretending to have fought bravely and now sought forgiveness. But Bai Qingyin knew too well what he'd done. She exploded, shouting, "You've got some nerve showing your face. You led the general into that ambush. Don't act all innocent now." Jili tried to defend himself, but Bai Qingyin had lived through his betrayal before. And no matter how convincing his words, she didn't believe a single one. "Calm down, Bai Qingyin," the general said softly. "You'll tear your wound open. Jili, step outside for now." "General, trust me. Jili is the traitor." Song Huaying's voice was grave. My household runs by the book. Everything needs solid proof. Bai Qingying blurted out, anxious. But he's good at hiding it. I don't have the proof. Song's eyes were sharp. I will not let anyone with ill intent go unpunished. But I also won't falsely accuse my men that if he's truly disloyal, he'll show his hand. Don't act recklessly. Bai Qingying swore, determined. You're right, General. I'll protect you. I won't let that bastard Jili harm you. When I catch him, I'll make him pay. He glanced at her wound and chided softly. Don't move. Pull the blanket up properly. You're just wrapped in bandages. It's not decent. Then he took off one of his outer coats and tossed it to her. A little embarrassed, he added, there's nothing for women in the barracks. Put this on for now. Bai Qingying lit up at the gesture, but she was too weak from her injuries to change clothes by herself. She asked him to help. Gentle and careful, the general draped the coat over her shoulders and dressed her with tender hands. In that instant, warmth flooded her chest. Since becoming a woman, this was the first time she truly felt the general's care. General, Bai Qingying whispered softly, come a little closer. Song Huaying frowned in confusion. What are you? Before he could finish, she suddenly leaned forward and kissed him on the cheek. She'd actually wanted to lick him, just like she used to when she was a white tiger. But remembering how he'd once scolded her for being improper, she settled for a small, innocent kiss instead. Song Huaying stumbled back, eyes wide. Bai Qingying, what are you doing? I'm getting close to you, General, she replied, blinking innocently. He froze. Who told you this is how people get close? Bai Qingying tilted her head, serious as ever. That isn't it. It's called getting close. So if I kiss you, aren't we closer? The general rubbed his temples, completely flustered. You tiger-brained girl. That's not what it means at all. His ears burned red as he turned away and hurried out of the room. Behind him, Bai Qingying was practically glowing with joy. That I may not be his battle tiger anymore, she thought. But if I keep getting closer to the general, becoming his top guard is only a matter of time. But moments later, she suddenly leaned over, in broad daylight, and kissed Schwer on the cheek. Unfortunately, Song Huaying walked in at that exact moment, his face dark as thunder. He strode forward, grabbing Bai Qingying by the shoulders. Why did you kiss Schwer? I can, but only with acupuncture to hold her condition steady, to stop the poison from spreading. Song asked quietly, why is she so badly injured? Schwer snapped, she threw herself in front of a blade meant for you. This grand mansion has guards everywhere. Yet she was the one bleeding for you. Tell me, General, were you testing her loyalty? Sima Chung barked, Schwer, watch your tone before the general. Watch my tone. She shot back, voice shaking with anger, that I'll speak the truth. You'll all regret your blindness soon enough. Her eyes welled with tears, but her words were fierce. You fools. General, do you know Bai Qingying stormed the Marquis's manor, saving me while half dead? Do you know she fought through poison just to reach you in Yongqing? Do you know she holds you dearer than her own life? Her arms, her hands, they're covered in frostbite scars. Schwer's voice broke as she shouted, General, can't you see? The life you're clinging to, it's hers. She bought it with her own blood. Song Huaying froze, his gaze turning distant as fragments of memory flickered through his mind. That shadowy figure shielding him in the storm, it had always been Bai Qingying. She was saving me all along. And I, his voice cracked with guilt. Sima Cheng stepped forward. General, when I returned, I ordered He Ling to treat Bai Qingying. Why does she still look half dead? Every pair of eyes in the room turned toward He Ling. Cold sweat poured down her back as she stammered, General, don't believe him. Bai Qingying tried to assassinate Jili in front of everyone. Why would I waste effort healing a traitor? Suddenly, Schwer's silver needle flashed through the air, flying straight toward He Ling. A sharp Z echoed as the needle struck its mark, piercing her pressure points. He Ling collapsed to her knees in pain. She screamed in panic, General, please help me. Schwer said coldly, that woman is poisonous. She clearly wanted Bai Qingying dead. That I spared her life out of respect for you, General. He Ling snorted, humph. The general despises betrayal among kin. If you strike me in public, you will be punished. To everyone's surprise, Song Huaying remained silent, and then pardoned Schwer for her outburst. He Ling snapped, what is this? That venomous woman attacked me in the open, and you forgive her? Song's expression hardened. He Ling, I remember you as an old comrade that I don't want to doubt your loyalty, so why did you hide the truth? He Ling fell silent, her face drained of color. She had no answer. Song Huaying's voice grew cold. Do you truly not know that Bai Qingyin was the one who saved my life? Are you certain you can't heal her? He Ling clenched her teeth, forcing calm. General, her wounds are far too severe that I truly can't save her. Song Huaying said coldly, very well. It seems I've overestimated your skills. As his words sank in, He Ling's face turned pale. She knew the general was about to strip her of her position. Xiujie Sima, the general ordered, take He Ling to the dungeon that she'll await judgment there. General, tear open her shirt. I'll pull the dagger out, someone shouted urgently. Bai Qingyin remembered that their marriage had long been a hollow title, but there was no time for that now. Song Huaying didn't hesitate. He ripped open her garment to expose the wound, buying time to treat it. He held her tightly, trying to steady her trembling body. Shuer acted on instinct. She lunged forward and yanked the dagger free in a clean, decisive motion. A cry of pain escaped Bai Qingyin as the injury flared. If it hurts, bite me. Hold on, I'm here. General, don't worry. As the healer drove needles and applied treatments with rapid precision, Bai Qingyin gritted her teeth against the stabbing, gut-wrenching pain. Tears streamed down her face, but she clenched her jaw and forced herself through the worst of it. Shuer pulled out the last silver needle and quickly wrapped Bai Qingyin's wound with a clean bandage. It's finally over, Bai Qingyin, can you hear me? General. Don't worry. Bai Qingyin murmured weakly before passing out once again. General, her life's no longer in danger, Shuer said firmly. But she must rest. No more injuries, no more shocks. Song Huaying looked down at her pale face, his voice low and resolute. I swear, I'll never let her be hurt again. Shuer had saved Bai Qingyin's life, but the hatred she felt for He Ling still cut like a blade. She strode up to the dungeon and stepped into its cold shadow. He Ling lunged at her like a rabid dog, furious and unrestrained. He Ling snarled, you lowly thing, don't think you're special just because you saved her. Even I, the poison woman, am not as vicious as you. Shuer shot back icily, you dared to try and kill my savior. Then I'll make you feel what it's like to have your heart torn out. With that, Shuer drove a silver needle into He Ling's pressure points. Steady, precise, unyielding. She said, cold as steel, the general spared your life, but he never ordered me to treat you kindly. Then Shuer added, voice low. This needle carries a slow-acting toxin. It'll wear off after 3 days. But for those 3 days you will writhe in agony. How dare you attack the general's allies? What kind of spell did Bai Qingyin put on you to make you all obey him like puppets? He Ling spat. Bai Qingyin is the general's lawful wife, Shuer snapped coldly. And you, a servant, dare to compare yourself to her? How ridiculous. Enjoy it while it lasts, Dr. Lady. He Ling screamed in rage, her eyes burning with hatred. Bai Qi, poison witch, you ruined my future. I'll never forgive either of you. At that moment, Bai Qingyin, exhausted from Shuer's treatment, had fallen into a deep sleep. Sitting beside her, Song Huaying gently brushed his fingers over her cold, delicate hand. The faint warmth stirred her fading life force back to light. Slowly, Bai Qingyin's eyelids fluttered open. The general pulled her gently into his arms. I'm sorry, Bai Qingyin. It's my fault that I let you get hurt this badly. Her wide, innocent eyes filled with surprise at his tone. He's never spoken to me like this before. What happened while I was asleep? Song Huaying cupped her face, his eyes soft and filled with regret. No matter what you wish to be by my side, he said quietly, I'll agree to it. Bai Qingyin blinked, startled. General, anything? Of course, he smiled gently, as long as it's what you want. Song Huaying had thought she'd ask to become his wife. But to his surprise, Bai Qingyin chose the role of his personal guard. She said proudly, that way I can protect you all the time. You don't want to be my wife? The general asked, taken aback. Being your guard is way more important than being your wife, she replied with utter seriousness. The corner of his mouth twitched. The general's face darkened in disbelief. Seeing this, Bai Qingyin quickly put on her best pitiful look, her big eyes blinking nervously. Song Huaying sighed, helpless against this stubborn little tiger, and finally nodded. Overjoyed, Bai Qingyin literally jumped with excitement, grinning from ear to ear. Just then the traitor Geely staggered in, covered in wounds, claiming to bring a report. He knelt dramatically, pretending to have fought bravely and now sought forgiveness. But Bai Qingyi knew too well what he'd done. She exploded, shouting, "You've got some nerve showing your face. You led the general into that ambush. Don't act all innocent now." Geely tried to defend himself, but Bai Qingyi had lived through his betrayal before. No matter how convincing his words, she didn't believe a single one. "Calm down, Bai Qingyi," the general said softly. "You'll tear your wound open." Geely, step outside for now. "General, trust me." Geely is the traitor. Song Huaying's voice was grave. My household runs by the book. Everything needs solid proof. Bai Qingyi blurted out, anxious. But he's good at hiding it. I don't have the proof." Song's eyes were sharp. "I will not let anyone with ill intent go unpunished. But I also won't falsely accuse my men. If he's truly disloyal, he'll show his hand. Don't act recklessly." Bai Qingyi swore, determined. "You're right, General. I'll protect you. I won't let that bastard Geely harm you. When I catch him, I'll make him pay." He glanced at her wound and chided softly. "Don't move. Pull the blanket up properly. You're just wrapped in bandages. It's not decent." Then he took off one of his outer coats and tossed it to her. A little embarrassed, he added, "There's nothing for women in the barracks. Put this on for now." Bai Qingyi lit up at the gesture, but she was too weak from her injuries to change clothes by herself. She asked him to help. Gentle and careful, the general draped the coat over her shoulders and dressed her with tender hands. In that instant, warmth flooded her chest. Since becoming a woman, this was the first time she truly felt the general's care. "General," Bai Qingyi whispered softly, "come a little closer." Song Huaying frowned in confusion. "What are you?" Before he could finish, she suddenly leaned forward and kissed him on the cheek. She'd actually wanted to lick him, just like she used to when she was a white tiger. But remembering how he'd once scolded her for being improper, she settled for a small, innocent kiss instead. Song Huaying stumbled back, eyes wide. "Bai Qingyi, what are you doing?" "I'm getting close to you, General," she replied, blinking innocently. He froze. "Who told you this is how people get close?" Bai Qingyi tilted her head, serious as ever. "Isn't it? It's called getting close. So if I kiss you, aren't we closer?" The general rubbed his temples, completely flustered. "You tiger-brained girl. That's not what it means at all." His ears burned red as he turned away and hurried out of the room. Behind him, Bai Qingyi was practically glowing with joy. "I may not be his battle tiger anymore," she thought, "but if I keep getting closer to the general, becoming his top guard is only a matter of time." But moments later, she suddenly leaned over, in broad daylight, and kissed Schwer on the cheek. Unfortunately, Song Huaying walked in at that exact moment, his face dark as thunder. He strode forward, grabbing Bai Qingyi by the shoulders. "Why did you kiss Schwer?" Bai Qingyi blinked innocently. "No reason. I just wanted to get closer to her." The general froze. "So what you mean by getting close? Is kissing everyone you find pleasant?" She tilted her head, completely serious. "Well, yes, General. Isn't that how it works?" Song Huaying clenched his fists, his jaw tightening as he growled, "Bai Qingyi, you're not allowed to get close to anyone else. Understood?" Before Bai Qingyi could reply, Song Huaying grabbed her by the arm and hauled her back to the room, ready for another round of discipline. Watching from the side, Schwer clicked her tongue. Well, that looked more like a shady uncle dragging home a clueless girl. She couldn't help but smile. Who would have thought? The ruthless, untouchable general, melted down by one silly little girl. Back in the room, Song Huaying repeated firmly, "You are not to kiss anyone else, understand?" He thought grimly, the entire camp's full of men. If she keeps getting close that way, she'll end up kissing half my troops. Absolutely not. But before he could finish the thought, something soft and warm brushed against his cheek. Bai Qingyi had tiptoed up and planted a quick kiss on him. With a bright grin and eyes curved like crescents, she said, "Got it, General. I promise, I won't kiss anyone else, only you." "You?" Song Huaying's face flushed instantly as he stumbled back. "That's not what I meant," he stammered. "What I meant was, you should only kiss someone who's truly important to you." Bai Qingyi answered without hesitation, eyes clear and sincere. "But General, you are the most important person to me." Song Huaying froze, heart pounding wildly. What a straightforward girl. For once, the mighty general was completely lost for words. Just then, the clothes Bai Qingyin had sent out for alteration finally arrived. She could barely wait to try them on. Song Huaying frowned, puzzled. Why do these patterns look so familiar? Before he could figure it out, Bai Qingyin suddenly began taking off her outer robe right in front of him. His eyes widened in shock. His face turned bright red as he spun around. Bai Qing, have you lost your mind? How can you undress in front of a man? She blinked innocently. But you're not just any man, you're my general. Song Huaying sighed in defeat. This tiger-headed girl. There's no teaching her. Listen carefully, he said with a deep breath. You are not to get too close to outsiders, not to undress in front of anyone, and absolutely not to wear other people's clothes. Understand? Bai Qingyin clenched her tiny fists and nodded seriously. Got it. I'll only do that in front of you, General. Song Huaying nearly choked on air and stumbled out of the room, his ears burning red. Little did he know, later that night his own aide would accidentally give him the perfect assist, nearly pushing the innocent Bai Qingyin straight into his arms, for real this time. That same aide, meanwhile, was crouched sneakily by the wall, eavesdropping. His eyes went wide at a beauty in his arms, and the general stays perfectly calm. The man's mind raced as realization struck him. Oh my gods! General Song might actually not be able to perform. And so, in order to help his general finally claim the beauty, the ever-loyal Sima Qing decided it was time for drastic measures. First, he secretly added a generous dose of high-grade aphrodisiac ingredients into the general's dinner. Then, with just a few well-placed words, he managed to trick the innocent Bai Qingyin into the general's study. A pure-hearted beauty and a restless general, alone in one room. That's the perfect setup for sparks to fly. Outside the door, Sima Qing grinned from ear to ear. Ha! I really am a genius. Inside the room, Song Huaying had just finished dinner when he suddenly felt his body heat up. His pulse quickened, his chest tight. Strange. Why do I feel so hot? Then bang! The door burst open. Bai Qingyin stormed in like a gust of wind, eyes shining with purpose. General, Sima Qing said you've been working too hard, so I'm here to ease your burdens. Song Huaying arched a brow, amused. Oh, and how exactly do you plan to help me? Puffing out her chest proudly, Bai Qingyin declared, I can grind your ink. I can massage your shoulders. Whatever you need, General, just say the word. Her wide, sparkling eyes caught his gaze, so bright, so close. A wave of heat surged through him again, making it hard to breathe. He quickly turned away, forcing composure. Then, grind the ink for me. Leave it to me, General. Grinding ink is the easiest thing in the world. Crack. Before she could finish, the ink stick shattered to pieces in her hands. Bai Qingyin blinked, surprised at my strength. It's back. She hadn't meant to crush it, just misjudged her power. A splash of ink dotted Song Huaying's cheek. She panicked and hurried to wipe it off, leaning in close. Her soft scent filled the air. Song Huaying's self-control slipped. His arm moved on its own, wrapping around her slender waist. Bai Qingyin stumbled, falling right into his arms. Her warmth pressed against him, her breath brushing his neck. His pulse thundered in his ears. Why is it so hot? He didn't know if it was the food, or the woman trembling in his embrace. Then the clueless Bai Qingyin gently touched Song Huaying's face. General, what's wrong? Why are you breathing so fast? Song Huaying couldn't hold back any longer. He pulled her close and kissed her. Bai Qingyin didn't resist at all, her eyes filled with confusion and innocent trust. But a second later she froze in shock. The general's nose was bleeding. Song Huaying quickly covered his face. I'm fine. Just stay away from me. He cursed inwardly. Damn it. I actually kissed her. And before he could recover, that sweet, naive voice came again. But General, you're bleeding. Should I lick it clean for you? His mind went blank. Boom. More blood gushed out. His nosebleed turned into a fountain. In pure panic, he tumbled right off the chair. That's when it hit him. It has to be Sima Qing. That dinner was definitely drugged. Bai Qingyin watched the general's hurried back disappear down the hall, her brows full of worry. What's wrong with the general? He's bleeding and still wouldn't let me lick it clean. And why did he run away so fast? So strange. Meanwhile, that audacious officer had actually tricked the innocent general's wife into a brothel. The clueless Bai Qingyin had no idea what Drunken Blossom Pavilion really was, or that her general was fuming somewhere across the city. To her, the place was just lively and fun. She saw crowds fighting for a glimpse of the famous courtesan Yong. Bai Qingyin's eyes sparkled with curiosity. Wow, that lady must be amazing. Everyone loves her. If I learn from her, maybe the general will love me even more. Sima Qing almost fainted on the spot. What kind of brain does she have? Learn from a courtesan. If the general finds out, I'm done for. He grabbed Bai Qingyin by the arm and hissed, "Stop daydreaming. The jade pendant I lost yesterday, Yong must have it. Come on, help me check her. She's definitely hiding it." Bai Qingyin finally remembered why they were here. She spoke gently, "Miss, just give the pendant back to Sima Qing here. That way I won't have to get rough." As she spoke, she rested her hand casually on the table. Crack. In the next second, the thick pearwood table split apart beneath her palm, shattering clean in 4 pieces. The whole room went dead silent. Everyone was frozen in shock, even Bai Qingyin herself. She really had only meant to rest her hand on the table. Sima Qing instantly covered his eyes dramatically. "I saw nothing. Just do whatever you need. If she dies, I'll take the blame." Yong went pale, backing away in terror. "Why, you're not actually going to hurt me, are you?" Bai Qingyin waved her hands frantically. No, don't be scared. I didn't mean it. The table just broke on its own. It's not my fault." Yong's eyes welled with tears. You really mean that?" Bai Qingyin gently lifted her chin and smiled. "Of course. Just give the pendant back to Sima Qing, okay? You're way too pretty to get into trouble. If you like pendants, I'll get you a nicer one." Yong blinked, caught off guard by those sincere, shining eyes. Her cheeks flushed pink before she could stop herself. Sima Qing face-bombed hard. "Oh, come on. Bai Qing. I said get the pendant, not flirt with her." Suddenly, the door burst open with a loud bang. Bai Qingyin's reflexes kicked in. She instantly pulled Yong into her arms to shield her. "Are you okay? Did you get hurt?" Before the courtesan could answer, a deep, icy voice echoed from behind. "She's fine. I'm the one who's not fine." Bai Qingyin turned around and froze. It was her general. She lit up with joy, waving excitedly. "General, you came to the brothel too?" Song Huaying, furious, grabbed Bai Qingyin by the collar. "Tell me, why am I even here? Bai Qingyin, who gave you the guts to come to a brothel and flirt with women?" Without even thinking, Bai Qingyin blurted out, "It was Sima Qing." Sima Qing dropped to his knees with a loud thud. Tears streamed down his face. "General, I can explain. My family's jade pendant was stolen by this lady, so I brought Bai Qingyin to get it back. I swear we didn't do anything else." Yong, terrified, finally spoke up. It wasn't me. The pendant was taken by Madame Su. I didn't dare say it before. She kills any girl who disobeys her." Bai Qingyin patted her shoulder gently. "Don't be scared. With the general here, that awful woman wouldn't dare lay a finger on you." Song Huaying's face darkened. He yanked Bai Qingyin toward him. "Stop touching other people so casually." Sima Qing stood there stunned. Was this really the same cold, ruthless general? Wait, is he actually jealous? Song Huaying turned to him sharply. "Go deal with that, madam, now." Then without another word, he took Bai Qingyin's hand and said firmly, "You're coming with me. We're leaving." To everyone's surprise, Bai Qingyin suddenly pulled her hand free. "Wait, general. I still have something to tell Yong. You go ahead first." Before Song Huaying could react, she gave him a gentle push and slammed the door shut. The loud thud left the general standing outside, completely dumbfounded. What on earth could she possibly have to say? "That she has to hide it from me," he muttered under his breath. Inside, Bai Qingyin was asking Yong a single innocent question. "Miss Yen, why does everyone like you so much?" Because deep down she wanted the same thing. To be liked, to be cherished by the one man she cared about most. But back at the camp, nasty rumors had begun to spread. The soldiers whispered that the woman beside the general was a demoness, a temptress who bewitched his heart. Even though the general quickly ordered everyone to stop gossiping, the whispers only grew louder. Behind it all was none other than the jealous healer, Ling. Out of envy, she spread lies and malice, poisoning minds and stirring soldiers against Bai Qingyin. She didn't just want Bai Qingyin gone, she wanted her dead. Soon, the restless young soldiers began openly looking for trouble with Bai Qingyin. That very day, during the annual Yongqing festival, Bai Qingyin, cheerful and unaware of the danger, happily headed to the Drunken Blossom Pavilion to meet Yong as planned. Just as Bai Qingyin reached the gate, the guards stepped in front of her. Halt! The city lord's manor is now the general's base of operations. For his safety, no one enters or leaves without permission. Hearing that it concerned the general's safety, Bai Qingyin paused. After a moment's thought, she decided not to go. After all, nothing was more important than the general. But then the healer, He Ling, appeared with a smile, claiming she needed to buy some supplies and border trinkets. The same guards who had just acted all righteous instantly changed their tune. Not only did they let her through, but one even asked obsequiously, "Lady He, is it a lot to carry? Should we send someone to help you?" That blatant double standard made Bai Qingyin's blood boil. Her expression darkened. Wait, why can she go out but not me? He Ling smirked coldly to herself. Perfect, that I knew she'd lose her temper. The guards sneered, mocking her. And who do you think you are, huh? You're nothing compared to the healer. Bai Qingyin's voice rose with fury. So you were lying to me. The general's safety? What a joke. You were just trying to humiliate me. The soldiers scoffed, showing no remorse. So what if we lied? You demon woman. Yongqing doesn't want your kind here. You'd better stay away from the general before. Wham! Before he could finish, Bai Qingyin's kick sent his arrogant face flying across the courtyard. Who do you think you are, lying to me and trying to make me leave the general? Pa! She spat. Seeing their comrades roughed up, the soldiers swarmed, shouting, "This woman's gone too far. Men, get her." Their bravado didn't last a second. Bai Qingyin knocked one of them out with a single punch. She spun and delivered a brutal kick that landed clean. 3 soldiers, bloodied and bruised, collapsed to the ground in a heap. "Say another bad word about me, pick on me again, and I'll teach you a lesson you won't forget," she warned icily. He Ling stepped forward, feigning concern. "They are the general's men. Landing blows like that might be a bit extreme, don't you think?" Bai Qingyin snorted. "I already hit them. Now you suddenly care. Where were you when they started?" He Ling tried to come up with an excuse, but Bai Qingyin cut her off. "Stop pretending to be fragile. It's annoying that I have no time for you." With that, she darted off toward Yong's side. He Ling stood there, face twisted with fury. Quick as a flash, she put on her harmless act and told the troops, "It was my fault for not stopping her. Do not report this to the general. Bai Qingyin is his close attendant now. You won't gain anything by snitching." That move poured oil on the fire. Suddenly the soldiers were bewildered, morale shattered. "Healer He, don't stop us. That witch dared to attack people inside the general's house. We're reporting this to the general right now. He's strict and fair. He won't be fooled by some temptress." He Ling watched their backs, a small smile curling at the corner of her mouth. "Fools," she thought. "Exactly what I expected." Quietly she hissed, "Bai Qingyin, just wait, that I don't believe the general will keep protecting you after you hurt his men." It was the day of Yongqing's annual flower goddess festival. He Ling twisted the story, cutting out key details before reporting it to the general. She accused Bai Qingyin of attacking the soldiers and fleeing the city lord's manor, begging the general to deliver justice. Upon hearing this, General Song Huaying immediately led his men to find her. To his astonishment, he found Bai Qingyin standing on the grand altar, radiant as the flower goddess herself. Her ethereal beauty and heavenly voice stirred the entire city to cheers and celebration. Yet what the general didn't know, Bai Qingyin had done all of it for him. When the ceremony ended, Bai Qingyin, still glowing with excitement, rushed to find her beloved general. Eyes sparkling, she asked eagerly, "General, did you like my performance today?" But instead of praise, she was met with a cold rebuke. "Bai Qingyin, do you admit your guilt?" She froze, completely bewildered. "Guilt? What did I even do?" Song Huaying's gaze was sharp as steel. "You're my personal guard. Yet you brawled with soldiers and left camp without permission. That you've defied military law." Bai Qingyin stammered, "No, that's not it. I didn't run away, I just..." He cut her off. "Did you strike the soldiers, yes or no?" She lowered her eyes, voice trembling. "Yes, I did." "And after injuring them, did you leave without reporting to me?" he pressed. Her head drooped even lower. "General, I did break the rules. Please punish me as you see fit." The soldiers Bai Qingyin had fought earlier suddenly panicked. They finally realized she wasn't as vile as He Ling had made her out to be. And besides, how could the woman worshipped as Yongqing's goddess be some kind of demon? A few of them stepped forward, bowing deeply. General, it was us. We were the ones who picked a fight and stopped her from leaving. We're at fault. Please punish us. Song Huaying frowned deeply, his tone sharp. Why would you deliberately target her? The men lowered their heads, guilty and silent. One finally muttered, because there were rumors, sir. They said Bai Qingyin went to a brothel, that she seduced you. People called her a temptress, said she'd corrupt the troops. Song Huaying's expression hardened as the truth finally pieced together in his mind. Since you've confessed, you'll face punishment according to military LAW.AS soldiers who provoked and humiliated your comrade. You'll each take 20 strikes. As for Bai Qingyin, you're my personal guard, yet you brawled in camp and disobeyed regulations. Normally you'd face the same. Considering you're a woman, your punishment is reduced to 10. Any objections? The soldiers all shook their heads. They knew full well they were in the wrong. But Bai Qingyin suddenly stepped forward, eyes unwavering. General, I have an objection. Since I'm part of the army, I'm your soldier like any other. Men and women should be treated equally. I'll take the same punishment, no less. With that, she knelt hard on the cold ground, voice ringing clear and proud. General, please, give the order. The whole camp gasped. 20 military lashes weren't a joke. On a woman they could tear flesh to the bone. Song Huaying knew her wounds hadn't fully healed, but seeing the unshakable fire in her eyes, he finally gave the order. Administer 20 strikes. Bai Qingyin knelt, her back straight as steel. Each lash landed hard, blood slowly soaking through her clothes. Yet she didn't flinch, not even a single cry escaped her lips. He Ling sneered from the sidelines. That little witch is clever, taking all 20 lashes just to make the general pity her, ruthless even to herself. But as the punishment ended, a soldier suddenly shouted, I don't accept this. Bai Qingyin isn't fit to be the general's personal guard. Still bleeding, Bai Qingyin refused any medicine or bandages. Instead, she gripped her sword, her presence fierce and defiant. Anyone else who's not convinced, step forward. If you think you can protect the general better than I can, then fight me. Song Huaying's brow furrowed. Bai Qingyin, enough. You've just taken 20 lashes. Your body can't handle this. But her gaze didn't waver. To her, protecting the general mattered more than her own life. She had to prove she was worthy of standing by his side. The soldiers laughed, mocking her. A woman as the general's guard. Don't cry for mommy when you lose. Bai Qingyin raised her sword, voice sharp as thunder. Shut up and fight. If I take even one step back, I'll leave this camp myself. Now come on, I don't have all day. Together, the angry men roared, charging forward in a rush of pride and fury. Such arrogance. She thinks we're weak. Let's show her. Bai Qingyin didn't even blink. Like lightning, she dashed between them. Her blade flashed once, clean, precise, and every sword clattered to the ground. She stood tall, blade pointed down, voice calm but cutting. You've all lost. The stunned soldiers refused to accept it. We didn't lose. We only dropped our weapons, they protested. Song Huaying, watching from the crowd, shook his head. You lost. Look at the collars on your necks. If Bai Qingyin hadn't held back, your heads would have been gone by now. They glanced down, and saw each collar had been neatly sliced. The crowd erupted. Nobody expected Bai Qingyin to be this deadly. She defeated a swarm of men with a single decisive strike, while still wounded. The soldiers had no choice but to swallow their pride and admit defeat. Bai Qingyin puffed up her chest, triumphant. Then I will serve as the general's personal guard. Any objections? Just then Geely strode forward, his face dark as thunder. I object. The general's safety isn't a game. This isn't something for a sheltered girl to meddle in. Bai Qingyin's eyes flared with rage. How dare this traitor belittle a woman? She pointed straight at Geely and threw down a public challenge. Do you have the guts to face me? 3 days, that's the limit. Bring your guards and try to break through my defenses. If I can keep the general safe within 3 days, I win. If I fail, I lose. Geely sneered. Do you really dare? The soldiers nearby buzzed with disbelief. Bai Qingyin had guts. She actually dared to challenge the cunning Deputy General Ji Li. Ji Li wore a calm mask, but inside he was already scheming. She's handed herself to me, he thought. Perfect, I'll use this chance to wipe her out and cut off future trouble. He put on a show of agreement. All right, I'll take that bet. But if I win, you'll pay for the knife in my back, repay the debt you owe me. Bai Qingyin let out a cold laugh. So it's mutual, he wants me dead as much as I want him gone. Fine. Let's see who dies first. She set a clever trap. Acting unpredictably, she burned a single incense stick in her room, then melted into the shadows to wait for her prey. Tonight was in fact the first day of their contest. Bai Qingyin was sure of one thing: Ji Li, a sneaky villain, would try to ambush her this very night. So she made a plan with Xiao Bai, her tiger companion. Xiao Bai, your nose is sharp. If anyone sneaks into the general's yard, give me a signal. Xiao Bai answered eagerly, got it, sister, leave it to me. Sure enough, under the cover of night, Ji Li crept into the general's rear garden. Confident in his stealth and lightness of foot, he assumed Bai Qingyin wouldn't notice until Xiao Bai's sensitive nose caught the scent of a human. The tiger signaled at once. Sister, I smell Ji Li, he's hiding 100 meters away. Bai Qingyin's eyes turned cold, her voice sharp as steel. This time he's not leaving alive. She lit another stick of incense, setting her trap ready to catch the rat in her snare. Just then Song Huaying walked in. He knew Ji Li too well, cunning, manipulative, and dangerous. With concern in his voice, he asked, do you need my help? Bai Qingyin smiled confidently. No need. General. Everything's in place. I'll make sure he can't escape. Song Huaying looked at her fiery expression and said calmly, you're my personal guard now. Don't lose. Her eyes welled up with emotion. For your trust, General, and for your honor, I will not lose. Song Huaying froze. He hadn't expected a few casual words to move her so deeply. Does she truly care for me that much? He wondered. When midnight struck, Ji Li finally made his move, sneaking into the general's quarters. He looked around and sneered. She's not even here. What a joke. A woman like her thinks she can fight in battle? Suddenly, a mocking voice echoed from behind him. Looking for me? I've been waiting a long time. Ji Li stiffened, spinning around. Bai Qingyin was standing there, silent and deadly as a drawn blade. In the next instant, Bai Qingyin swung the stool above her head. Surrender, she barked. The traitor. Ji Li sneered, scoffing, you think a single chair can take me? He reached for his sword, then found his limbs heavy, his strength drained. He froze. Before he could react, the stool slammed into his skull with a sickening thud, sending him crashing to the floor. Blood spattered. Ji Li finally registered the faint incense still smoldering on the table. Bai Qingyin looked down at him from above, icy calm. You had the nerve to burn that incense in the general's chamber. Talk less, pass out. She raised her club and struck him again hard. Ji Li screamed once, then went completely limp. The next morning, Song Huaying woke puzzled. He'd slept unusually deeply. Bai Qingyin entered, face stern, dragging something behind her. General, she said, look, I captured Ji Li. Song Huaying's eyes widened. There on the floor, bound tight and gagged, lay Ji Li, eyes glassy and defeated. How did you even catch him? Song Huaying asked in disbelief. Bai Qingyin's eyes sparkled with pride as she eagerly told the whole story. I burned some sleeping incense last night. Ji Li lost all his strength and I just knocked him out cold. The incense doesn't affect me, she added. Song Huaying finally understood. No wonder he'd slept so deeply. He'd been drugged too. He sighed inwardly. This woman plays by no rules at all. Who burns knockout incense in her own room? Just then Ji Li slowly came to. The moment he saw Bai Qingyin, his face twisted with fury. He looked ready to bite her head off. Before he could move, Bai Qingyin struck a sharp hand chop to the neck. Ji Li didn't even have time to react before collapsing again. Bai Qingyin wrinkled her nose, kicked him aside and muttered, what a waste of space. General, don't worry about him. Are you heading to the study? I'll come with you. The general agreed. Looking at the still unconscious Ji Li, he couldn't help but think. With someone like Bai Qingyin who breaks all the rules, even the most scheming man can end up knocked out. In the study, the general tried to focus on his book, but Bai Qingyin's intense stare made the hairs on his arms stand up. Bai Qingyin said matter-of-factly, those soldiers aren't stupid, they won't try a daytime ambush. You don't need to keep watching me. She added, the contest runs 3 days. I need you right under my watch to prevent any sneak attacks. The general's face turned slightly red. What do you mean, steal people? Bai Qingyin you. Bai Qingyin hurriedly cut him off. Oh general, I know you're busy with all the battles. Just do your work, I'll sit quietly and won't bother you. Despite her words, the general couldn't focus at all with her staring at him like that. Restless and flustered, he finally stood up to leave. Bai Qingyin jumped up too. General, where are you going? To relieve myself, he said, forcing the first excuse that came to mind. Bai Qingyin brightened instantly. Great. Then I'll go with you. The general nearly collapsed, dropping to his knees with an expression that screamed, why me? He looked up helplessly at the woman trying to help him up. Did you not hear me? I said to the latrine. Bai Qingyin nodded seriously. I know. I'll wait for you right outside the door. The general finally couldn't take it anymore. No, Bai Qingyin. Wait in the study, he ordered firmly. But Bai Qingyin refused to give up. She insisted on following him, worried someone might ambush him in the latrine. The general covered his face, exhaling through his nose. No one's going to attack me in there. Bai Qingyin, stubborn as ever, pressed on. General, please cooperate. Don't throw a tantrum, all right? Out of options, the general sighed and agreed to let her come along. To her surprise, the latrine trip turned out to be a bath. Steam filled the air and his 8-pack abs gleamed faintly in the light. From outside, Bai Qingyin called anxiously, General, are you okay? You said you were just using the restroom, but it's been a whole incense stick's time. The general answered casually, I decided to bathe as well. Go do something else. No way. She huffed. I'm waiting right here. True to her word, she stood guard at the door the whole time, scanning for danger. Suddenly, footsteps echoed down the corridor. Peeking around the corner, Bai Qingyin spotted 2 soldiers approaching and immediately went on high alert, convinced they were enemies. Meanwhile, the general was thinking, as long as she doesn't come in, she can guard the door all she wants. The very next second, bang. Bai Qingyin burst right in. General, enemy attack, she shouted, diving straight toward him. She tackled the poor man right into the bath, sending water splashing everywhere. Bai Qingyin, what in the world are you doing? He yelled, face burning red. But Bai Qingyin didn't listen. She grabbed his arm, shouting, we have to go now. Seeing him frozen in shock, she yelled louder, it's an ambush. General, hurry. The general blinked, utterly confused. An ambush. Here? Impossible. Just then the door slammed open. A group of soldiers rushed in. General, we heard noises, what's going? But as soon as they saw the scene before them, every single one went silent. Thinking fast, the general yanked Bai Qingyin into his arms and barked out, all of you out. The soldiers scrambled to obey, fleeing faster than rabbits under fire. From the bath, the general could still hear the soldiers gossiping outside. Broad daylight playing in the water. Who knew our cold-faced general was so wild and private? Don't ruin his moment, let's get out of here. Meanwhile, clueless Bai Qingyin finally realized they weren't Ji Li's men at all. The general sighed at their city patrol guards. Bai Qingyin. They make regular rounds. You didn't know that? She scratched her head awkwardly. No, I didn't. I was too worried about you, General. The general groaned inwardly, already imagining the rumors that scene would spread. But Bai Qingyin, completely oblivious, ran her hand over his chest. Wow, General, your body's amazing. These abs, this chest. The general turned crimson, grabbing her hand. What are you doing? Admiring your strong body, of course, she said honestly, though I really don't like staying in water, it feels weird. The general's face was scarlet now. Don't move, he ordered, voice trembling slightly. Suddenly, Bai Qingyin blinked in confusion. General, why are you bathing with a wooden stick? Is that for protection? She reached out to grab it, only for him to snatch her wrist instantly. What? She frowned. You always keep that stick close, right? It must be some kind of treasure. Let me take a look. The general had no idea how to explain it, so he just said stiffly, yes, I do have a weapon for self-defense. But you can't see it. It's my secret weapon. Bai Qingyin grew even more curious. She reached out, muttering, come on, just one look won't kill me. The general panicked and shoved her away in desperation, sending her stumbling toward the edge of the bath, barely keeping her balance. His face flushed scarlet as he barked out, get out right now. Bai Qingyin pouted but obeyed, stepping out of the bath reluctantly. As she walked away, she mumbled to herself, so weird, he's got me guarding him, yet he still bathes with a weapon and won't even let me see it. Watching her finally leave, the general exhaled deeply in relief. But then she suddenly turned around and came back. The general froze, clutching a towel to his chest. "W now," he stammered. Her eyes sparkled with excitement. "General, your weapon, it must be a magical artifact. It can grow or shrink, right? Otherwise, how come I didn't see it when I rushed in? You must have sensed danger and then it got bigger." The general felt his brain short-circuit. After a long pause, he muttered, yeah, something like that. Truly, Bai Qingyin was a genius. The kind that could kill a man with innocence alone. The general sighed, noticing her soaked clothes, and gently draped his cloak over her shoulders. Bai Qingyin cheerfully wrapped herself in the cloak, winking playfully. "You can finish your bath, General, that I'll guard the door, so relax." The general sighed. "Got it, just go already." Strutting out proudly, Bai Qingyin mumbled to herself. "With me guarding the general and his magical staff that can grow bigger for protection, there's no way I'll lose this bet." After bathing, the general returned to his study to read, with Bai Qingyin dutifully standing guard nearby. A while later, he rose, ready to get some rest. Bai Qingyin's eyes sparkled. She darted in front of him. "You can sleep easy, General. I'll keep watch over everything here." Then, as if genuinely concerned, she added, "But General, shouldn't you take your stick out? Carrying it around must be tiring." The word stick made the general instantly recall that embarrassing scene from the bath. Seeing his silence, Bai Qingyin tilted her head. "General, why's your face red again?" The general quickly backed away, stammering, "Nothing at all." Regaining composure, he ordered, "Stay alert tonight. Ji Li's guards might try something." Bai Qingyin puffed out her chest confidently. "Don't worry, General. No matter how many come, I won't let them succeed." Then, with her usual persistence, she added, "But General, about that stick of yours." "No." The general suddenly shouted, flustered. "Bai Qingyin, I'm going to bed, and the stick stays with me." His face was now red clear to his ears. Bai Qingyin sulked, scratching her head. One day, she thought stubbornly, "I'm definitely going to see that mysterious treasure stick." Late that night, Ji Li's personal guards appeared silently on the roof of the general's manor. Whispering excitedly, one of them said, "We'll rescue the boss tonight, no matter what." The squad leader nearly fainted from anger. "Are you trying to announce it to the whole city?" Realizing their blunder, the guards froze, awkward enough to dig a 3-bedroom apartment with their toes. In the courtyard, the white tiger cub caught their scent and dashed off to alert Bai Qingyin. "Sister. Sister." The cub panted. "There are 5 men on the roof outside the general's courtyard." Bai Qingyin patted its head with a confident smile. "Good work. Tonight we'll catch them all in one go." The little tiger wagged its tail proudly. "Rawr. Sister's the best." Calm and calculating, Bai Qingyin had already set her trap. This time, she thought, none of Ji Li's men will make it back alive. As the night deepened, the guards finally jumped down from the rooftop, sneaking into the room only to find their commander, Ji Li, tied up in the corner. The leader rushed over, shaking him hard to wake him up. It actually worked. Ji Li's eyes snapped open, panic written all over his face. His men quickly gathered around, but with his mouth gagged, Ji Li could only grunt in frustration. He struggled desperately, trying to warn them they weren't a match for Bai Qingyin. But the fools completely misunderstood, pounding their chests. "Don't worry, boss. We'll crush that woman and get you out of here." Ji Li was screaming inside, "Idiots. That's not what I meant." He gestured wildly for them to remove the gag, but the blockheads ignored him, already gearing up to finish off Bai Qingyin as fast as possible. At that moment, the demon queen Bai Qingyin appeared silently behind them. Ji Li's eyes nearly popped out of his skull. She was right there. His guards, however, were still clueless, laughing quietly, unaware that death was already standing behind them. Suddenly, thud. One guard was smashed unconscious by Bai Qingyin's staff. The others froze for a second before shouting, "Enemy attack." Bai Qingyin twirled her weapon with a wicked grin. "I've been waiting for you." One bold guard actually yelled, "You have no honor attacking from behind." Ji Li nearly fainted. "Idiots. One hit and you're already down. Run, you fools." But the morons completely misunderstood, shouting back, "Don't worry, boss. We'll avenge you." And with that, they all charged forward in a glorious display of stupidity. Bai Qingyin smirked, leapt into motion, and her staff danced through the air, clang, smack, thud, each strike dropping another man. The room filled with panicked cries for help. Moments later, all 5 guards were tied up tight like dumplings on the floor. Ji Li buried his face in his hands. He couldn't even bear to look. These guys came here just to die, didn't they? By morning, the camp was buzzing. "Hey, did you hear? Master Ji got captured by Bai Qingyin on the very first night of the challenge." While they were still gossiping, one of Ji Li's guards suddenly shouted from the back, "Commander Ji is fine, stop spreading lies, all right?" But inwardly he was losing confidence. He knew Ji Li had been captured and the ambush squad hadn't returned. Meanwhile, Bai Qingyin stayed glued to the general's side. When his guards saw her safe, they quietly concluded the raid team was wiped out. Bai Qingyin watched the soldiers with genuine interest. "General, your men are truly impressive. One day I'll be like them and fight by your side." The general warned her, "Focus on the upcoming challenge. If you lose, don't even think about coming to fight alongside me." Bai Qingyin brushed it off. She was sure she wouldn't lose. "Last night I caught 5 little white mice," she bragged. She grinned at the general. "Weren't you surprised when you saw them this morning?" The general replayed the scene in his head and thought, that wasn't surprise, it was a scare. Seeing his expression change, Bai Qingyin rushed over. "Anyway, I won't lose," she said firmly. She grabbed his hand and vowed, "General, whatever tricks they use, I won't let them take you away from me." The general awkwardly pulled his hand back. "All right, I get it. Can you as a woman stop being so deadpan and not say such cheesy things?" Bai Qingyin had no idea what cheesy meant, her head filled with question marks. One of Ji Li's other guards couldn't stand it and sneered, "She's flirting with the general, typical big-breasted, empty-headed woman." Another guard heard that and immediately punched him. "You're the empty-headed one. Our commander and that 5-man squad are gone, and you still belittle her. Use your brain next time." The guard who got punched looked dazed. "Then what do? We can't just leave Commander Ji, right?" The other guard smirked mysteriously. "Relax. That woman's not ordinary. Let's just wait and see." Bai Qingyin thumped her chest confidently, "As long as I'm here, not even a fly can get past me." But right after saying that, she suddenly froze, then spat out a mouthful of blood. The general rushed forward to catch her, his voice full of concern. Bai Qingyin's face turned red with embarrassment. It wasn't an injury at all, she'd simply hit herself too hard. In that moment she wished she could crawl into a hole. So embarrassing. Maybe being a tiger really was easier. The general, however, misunderstood. His expression turned grave, thinking her old wounds had flared up. Bai Qingyin looked helplessly at his worried face, completely flustered. Without warning, the general scooped her up in his arms, holding her like a princess. "Enough pretending. You're clearly not healed yet. I'm taking you to Schwer right now." Flustered and blushing, Bai Qingyin stammered, "It's not that. I just hit myself too hard, that's all." The general didn't listen to a word she said. His voice went full cold Xiao mode. "Enough talking. You're coming with me. You spat blood, how could you not be hurt?" Watching them leave, one of Ji Li's guards smirked darkly, convinced Bai Qingyin was seriously injured and too weak to walk. Beside him, Karami volunteered eagerly, "Let's send another squad tonight and finish her off." The guard shook his head gravely. "No, that courtyard's definitely full of traps she set up." "Then what do we do next?" Karami asked. The guard grinned. "We ambush them on their way back, catch her off guard." Karami nodded and went to prepare. The guard laughed aloud. Didn't expect the arrow to fly back so soon. Bai Qingyin's already running out of steam. Meanwhile, in the general's arms, Bai Qingyin wouldn't stay still. She kept trying to prove she was fine. The general wasn't buying it. "Stop moving already. You're not the doctor. Schwer will decide if you're fine." Bai Qingyin pouted, clearly unwilling to bother Schwer again. But a second later, she froze. An idea suddenly lit up in her head. She remembered the last time she pretended to be weak and how the general had taken such good care of her. And just like that, the tiger had an epiphany. Bai Qingyin quickly clutched her chest. "Ow, General, my chest hurts. So bad." As she spoke, she leaned her head softly against his chest. The general looked down, suspicious. Bai Qingyin squeezed out a few tears and whimpered, "It must be my old wounds. I don't think I have much time left." The general quickly comforted Bai Qingyin. telling her not to talk nonsense, but in his heart, something about this scene felt oddly familiar. Bai Qingyin continued her act, looking fragile and pitiful. I've already coughed up blood. My wounds must be serious. It's a shame I still have one unfulfilled wish. I might never see it come true. The general's voice softened. Stop saying that. You'll be fine and I'll make sure of it. Whatever your wish is, I'll help you fulfill it, but don't talk like you're dying again. Hearing that, Bai Qingyin's eyes lit up. She started cheering and waving her arms excitedly in his arms. The general blinked in disbelief. Wait, wasn't she supposed to be on the verge of collapse? Realizing she'd overdone it, Bai Qingyin quickly clutched her chest again. Ow, it hurts. It really hurts. My wish is simple, she said sweetly. I just want to stay by your side, General. The general's heart skipped a beat. He instinctively held her tighter. As long as you're safe. Before he could finish, someone hidden in the shadows had already drawn their bow. His words were cut short. Whoosh. The sound of an arrow slicing through the air. Both Bai Qingyin and the general spotted it at the same time. The general's first reaction was to throw his arm in front of her to block it. But Bai Qingyin's eyes flashed with fury. She kicked out with lightning speed, shattering the arrow mid-flight into 2 clean pieces. The general stood behind her, completely stunned. His voice turned cold as he shouted, Bai Qingyin. Hearing him call her name, Bai Qingyin instantly jumped in front of him. Don't worry, General. Stay behind me, I won't let anything happen to you. The general glared at her. So, you were pretending just now? Bai Qingyin froze, sweat dripping down her forehead, too embarrassed to answer. Ji Li's bodyguards stepped out of the shadows after their ambush failed. One of them sneered, You're finished today. Ji Li's. But before he could finish, Bai Qingyin raised her hand and cut him off. With teary eyes, she turned to the general. General, I really was in pain. You saw me cough up blood. The guard roared in fury. Enough of your act, woman. Bai Qingyin snapped back. Can you not? Don't you see I'm talking to the general right now? The guard was left speechless. Kurami leaned in awkwardly. Maybe we should fight later? The guard's face twisted with rage. Was she treating this like a tea party? He swung at Kurami in frustration, yelling, Shut up, idiot. Fight later. Not a chance. We don't respect sneak attacks. You think this is some etiquette tea party? First come, first served. Want to bow to the general before we start? The bodyguards jabbed a finger at Bai Qingyin, threatening to teach her a lesson. Bai Qingyin sneered, eyes full of disdain, then snapped, You bunch of trash trying to school me. Fine, I'll finish this quick, wreck you, and then explain to the general. Bring it on. The blue-clad guard bristled with anger. You think you're something. There are a lot more of us than you. Don't underestimate us. Before he could finish, Bai Qingyin's fist was already flying, landing square on the guard's face. The blue guard was sent sprawling. Everyone stared in panic as he hit the ground hard. Bai Qingyin taunted, Keep talking, talkative villains always meet bad ends. The blue guard clutched his face and, trembling, ordered Kurami and the others to ready their bows. At his command, the archers drew and fired their arrows straight at Bai Qingyin. The general tried to rush in to help Bai Qingyin, but she stopped him with a firm hand. General, stay back, she said seriously. I don't want to hurt you by accident. On the other side, the guards shouted, Fire. Several arrows whistled through the air toward her. In a blink, the arrows were right in front of Bai Qingyin. Meanwhile, a strange muffled sound came from the general's quarters. 2 shadows inside. Their mouths pressed together. Turns out, one of the guards was trying to pull the gag out of Ji Li's mouth with his own mouth. Ji Li froze, his face darkening. Did I just mouth to mouth with a man? The gag finally came loose. Ji Li spat and shouted, Ugh. What the hell are you doing? The guard stammered, Hurry, Commander Ji. I got too focused and couldn't stop myself. Then he quickly stood up, eager to please. You're still tied up, so want me to, help loosen the rest with my mouth? Ji Li barked, Just hurry up. While silently praying no one had seen that humiliating scene. The guard worked furiously, and within seconds the ropes were undone. Ji Li stretched his arms, gave a few quick orders, then pushed the window open to make his escape. Ji Li climbed onto the window ledge, smirking. Ha. Bai Qingyin's not here, let's see who can stop me now. A second later, his grin froze, his eyes met those of the white tiger cub. The little tiger dropped the bone from its mouth and let out a fierce roar. Ji Li panicked and jumped down from the window. He figured the tiger had no grudge against him and wouldn't bother attacking. But the moment he hit the ground, the tiger sank its teeth straight into his backside. Ji Li's face twisted in pain, tears bursting out of his eyes. Desperate, he used light-footed skill to leap up to the rooftop and flee. While running, he cursed, "I'll kill that beast and Bai Qingyin both someday." Meanwhile, Bai Qingyin had already finished off the ambusher swift and clean, not a scratch on her. The general watched in silent shock. How did the Marquis's daughter learn to fight like that? As he spaced out, Bai Qingyin stepped closer and asked softly, "General, what are you thinking about?" The general snapped back to reality and played dumb. "I was just wondering, where did you learn to act so weak and pitiful?" Bai Qingyin froze, stammering, "General, I wasn't pretending. My chest really hurt." Then she gasped dramatically and fell right into his arms again. "It's just a little burst of energy before the end. Now I can't move again." The general's face darkened as he pushed her away. "Bai Qing, do you take me for a fool?" Just then, the little white tiger ran in, carrying a torn piece of cloth in its mouth. Bai Qingyin blinked in confusion. "Little White, why are you here? Weren't you guarding Ji Li?" Realizing something, she rushed toward the tiger but called over her shoulder, "General, wait for me. I'll come back to act or explain." The general sighed, rubbing his temples. "With that brain and acting, and I once thought she might be a spy?" The white tiger began reporting something in a series of growls and huffs. Bai Qingyin suddenly jumped up, fuming. "General," Little White said, "Ji Li escaped. He only managed to bite his butt before he ran." The general wasn't surprised Ji Li got away, but he was stunned that the tiger apparently talked. "Wait," he asked, frowning, "you can actually understand what the tiger's saying? You're not teasing me again, are you?" Bai Qingyin didn't bother to explain. She grabbed the general by the wrist and pulled him along. When they returned to the room, Ji Li was indeed gone. The general stared at her, completely baffled. Can she really talk to that tiger? One of Ji Li's guards sneered, taunting, "Didn't expect this, did you? Commander Ji has already escaped with my help. This round you've lost, Bai Qingyin." Bai Qingyin's smile turned devilish. "Have you ever seen a demon before? Because you just set one free." Her fists came down like a raging storm. Kurami was beaten black and blue, begging for mercy. Only when he passed out cold did Bai Qingyin finally calm down just a little. "Unbelievable that I've never met someone so asking for a beating," she grumbled, puffing her cheeks as she stormed off to go drag Ji Li back. The general stopped her. "Enough that he's been burned once, he won't get caught again. I'm sure he's already made every preparation." Bai Qingyin hesitated, then sighed. "Fine, you're right." The general suddenly said, "Bai Qingyin, come with me to the inner chamber. There's something I need to ask you." She scratched her head, blinking. "Okay?" They entered the room and Bai Qingyin quietly shut the door behind them. "So what did you want to ask me, General?" she asked curiously. The general straightened his posture. "Tell me honestly, how did you know Ji Li escaped? How did you hear that from the tiger?" Bai Qingyin answered without thinking, "Little White told me himself." The general's brow twitched. "Don't mess with me. No human can understand what a tiger says." Bai Qingyin spoke with absolute conviction. "I'm telling the truth. I am the white tiger. Of course I can understand what Little White says. I told you the very first time we met, didn't I? I'm Bai Yi, but you never believed me." The general's mind flashed back to their first encounter. Doubt began to creep in. Yet reason quickly overpowered emotion. He lifted her chin gently but firmly. "There are no ghosts or gods in this world. A tiger turning into a woman. That's absurd. How am I supposed to believe that?" Bai Qingyin panicked, wanting to explain herself clearly. But the general suddenly lowered his hand, his expression dimming. "There's no need to make up such wild stories to fool me," he said quietly. "Leave. I need some rest." "General!" Bai Qingyin suddenly shouted. In the next instant she leapt forward, catching him completely off guard. Thud! Bai Qingyin tackled the general straight onto the bed. The general blinked in shock. She had just pinned him down. Flustered, he pushed weakly against her shoulders. "Get up right now." But Bai Qingyin refused to move, her voice trembling yet firm. "I'm not lying to you. Bai Qingyin has never lied to you." Bai Qingyin leaned in even closer, her voice soft and pleading. "General, look carefully at me. You raised me yourself. Don't you feel even a little familiar?" The general stared into her eyes, his breath catching those eyes. Why did they feel so familiar? Seeing his expression soften, Bai Qingyin brightened instantly, hope lighting up her face. But the next second the general's tone snapped cold. Enough. I don't want to hear any more of this nonsense. Leave. His mind was a storm. Am I losing it? Why did she suddenly look like the white tiger? Bai Qingyin panicked. She threw her arms around him and shouted, "No, I'm not leaving. I'll prove it to you." Then she grabbed his hand and pressed it against her lower back. The general froze, his entire face turning crimson. Bai Qingyin blurted anxiously, "I just wanted you to feel it. Back then when I was still the white tiger you used to pet me like this, but my tail's gone now." The general's mind went blank. He couldn't even process her words, only feeling the chaos and heat rise. "Back then," Bai Qingyin continued breathlessly, "that's how I used to get close to you." She rubbed her cheek against his chest, nuzzling like an affectionate cat. "Come on, General. Just a little pat and a good scratch like before." The general suddenly felt a strange rush of heat through his body. Startled, he leaned back and stammered, "Bai Qingyin, stop, don't come any closer." But Bai Qingyin ignored him completely. She leaned in, licked his cheek and even planted a quick kiss. The general's brain crashed, his face turned bright red, like a steaming engine ready to blow. Seeing him frozen and speechless, Bai Qingyin grinned playfully. "General, why aren't you saying anything? Did you remember me? I knew you wouldn't forget. After all, no other tiger has ever been this close to you." Then she noticed something strange about his body and reached out, touching him lightly to check. The general panicked and shoved her away. He bolted for the door, practically fleeing in embarrassment. Bai Qingyin blinked in confusion. "What's wrong with him?" she muttered, starting to follow. "Don't come any closer," the general shouted, looking utterly terrified. Desperate for an excuse, he blurted, "I am going to get Shuer. She should check on you. Stay put and don't follow me." And the real reason he ran. Simple, his wooden staff had reacted. Meanwhile, Bai Qingyin stood there heartbroken, completely unaware. "Why won't he remember me?" she whispered. Seeing the general walk out with messy clothes and a flushed face, Kaomi and the others were stunned. Wait. Did Lady Bai Qingyin just overpower the general? That night, Ji gathered his personal guards to discuss the final day's strategy. Tomorrow would decide everything. He had to plan carefully tonight. After counting heads, they realized only about 20 men were still fit to fight. Ji decided to use a diversion tactic. He would personally distract Bai Qingyin, while the rest launched a surprise attack on the general. Once the plan was set, he raised his voice to rally the men. "We must win this match no matter what." The guards responded in unison, their morale blazing. "Yes, sir." After they dispersed, Ji quietly called out to Yong. Yong was his most loyal follower, utterly devoted. Ji leaned in and whispered, "Tomorrow's our chance. During the match, I want you to strike down General Song Huang. He won't be expecting a real attack." Yong understood instantly and nodded. "I swear, I'll kill him myself and bring you victory, my lord." Ji cautioned, "If you fail, make it look like an accident. Whatever happens, don't throw your life away." But deep down, Ji had already decided. If Yong was caught, he'd simply abandon him. Yong, however, had long regarded Ji as both master and father. For him, this mission meant one thing: dying with honor. Ji tried to keep up a show of persuasion, but Yong replied calmly, "Master, you needn't say more. I've made my choice." After Yong left, Ji's smile went cold and calculating. Who cares about scorn? Who cares about Yong's life? He thought that if killing Song Huang secures victory, it's worth it. The general went outside to clear his head, yet the image of Bai Qingyin pressed close to him would not fade. Bai Qingyin chased after him, breathless. "General, why didn't you wait for me to come train with you? I promised to stay by your side. You can't just run off. What if something happens?" she added. The general, unable to meet her eyes, hurriedly pulled his hand free. Bai Qingyin stepped even closer. "Hey General, your face is so red. I said about last night. You didn't come back until very late." The general flustered, stumbling over his words. "Stop touching me so much." Then a voice carried from not far off. Ji had returned, flanked by his guards, eyes wide and cold. Bai Qingyin snapped. "Ji, still showing your face. Didn't getting nipped by little Bai teach you anything?" Ji Li forced a calm expression. Today's the final day. I challenge you to meet me on the arena floor face to face. Do you accept? Bai Qingyin answered without hesitation. Who's afraid of you? Bring it on. If it's a fight you want, I'll give you one. Don't underestimate me, coward. The general, worried, grabbed her arm. Bai Qingyin grinned and reassured him. Relax, General. I can handle this kind of nobody. 8 of them if needed. Though Bai Qingyin's combat skill was unmatched, the general still looked uneasy. A duel is fine, he warned, but no real weapons, no serious injuries. Or I won't stand by. Ji Li nodded with a strained smile, his thoughts bitter. Oh, biased. Clearly worried she'll get hurt. But that's fine, my goal isn't the duel anyway. The general knew Ji Li too well. A man like him, full of schemes, would never fight fair. On the stage, Ji Li didn't waste a word. He charged forward, throwing a heavy punch. Bai Qingyin barked back, perfect. Let's see if I can't beat you into a turtle shell. Their clash erupted like lightning, fast, fierce, and evenly matched. Suddenly, Ji Li leaned close and muttered with a smirk, You really think I'd fight you one-on-one? Bai Qingyin's heart sank. Ji Li spun toward his guards and shouted, Now, attack the general. His men scattered, circling the general from all sides. Bai Qingyin realized too late it was a trap, a diversion. Without hesitation, she turned and sprinted toward the general, so fast Ji Li barely saw her move. In an instant, the tide shifted. Bai Qingyin burst forward like a streak of light, her movements fluid, lethal, unstoppable. To her, those guards were nothing but small fry. Bai Qingyin's presence was commanding as she barked, Who dares attack the general right in front of me? You've got guts. She quickly turned, voice filled with worry. General, are you all right? Did any of them touch you? The general's face flushed red. No, I'm fine, he said, clearing his throat, though deep down he thought being protected by her wasn't so bad. Bai Qingyin finally exhaled, the tension in her shoulders easing as relief softened her expression. She spun around, snapping, Ji Li, you sneaky coward, your tricks never end, do they? But Ji Li stayed eerily calm. No anger, no fear, just that unsettling, calculating smile. The general frowned. Something's off. Ji Li never acts without a plan. Bai Qingyin saw that smug grin and felt her blood boil. Unable to hold back, she swung her fist straight at him. Ji Li reacted on instinct, dodging Bai Qingyin's strike just in time. His mind raced her strength. It's overwhelming. I can't match her. Glancing at his fallen guards, Ji Li smirked inwardly. All I need is to stall her a little longer. Once Yong makes his move, it'll be over. While Bai Qingyin and Ji Li clashed in the center, Yong slowly rose to his feet in the shadows. Bai Qingyin was locked in combat, and the general hadn't noticed a thing. This was the perfect moment to strike. But Song Huaying's instincts as a seasoned commander kicked in. He sensed the danger and spun around in a flash. Yong leapt forward, blade raised, shouting, General, it's just a spar, remember, you can't fight back. The general instantly sensed something was wrong. His eyes sharpened as he quietly drew a dagger from inside his robe. On the arena, Bai Qingyin felt the same murderous intent and called out dramatically, That man's acting strange. General, watch out. Deep down, though she was grinning, she knew she wouldn't make it in time. Bai Qingyin realized this had to be one of Ji Li's traps, but there was no stopping it now. Still, her mind raced fast. If I can't reach the general, then I'll send Ji Li instead. Grabbing Ji Li by the ankle, she yanked him off his feet with a loud thud. Ji Li hit the ground hard, coughing up blood. Without hesitation, Bai Qingyin swung him like a rag doll and launched him straight across the field. Ji Li's mind went blank. What the hell just happened? In the blink of an eye, a shadow shot between Yong and the general. The general froze in shock. It was Ji Li. Yong's face turned pale as death. But it was too late. His blade was already mid-swing and couldn't be stopped. The dagger sank deep into Ji Li's shoulder, blood instantly soaking through his armor. Before Yong could even react, Ji Li yanked out his own sword. With a furious roar, he swung it straight at Yong. The blade slashed across Yong's throat. He dropped to the ground without a sound. Ji Li quickly sheathed his sword and dropped to one knee. I failed to protect you, General. Please, punish me. The general narrowed his eyes. He recognized the dead man. That was Yong, wasn't it? He asked. Ji Li's face went pale, sweat trickling down as he nodded. The general's tone hardened. We capture assassins alive. Yong was your subordinate. You could have disarmed him. Why kill him outright? Ji Li scrambled for an excuse that I was stabbed. General, I lost my temper, acted on impulse. The general's expression darkened, his hand brushed over his sword hilt, but he said nothing. It was clear he didn't believe a word Ji Li said. Ji Li quickly shifted his tone, playing the loyalty card. General, I've fought by your side for years, countless battles. My loyalty runs deep. I would never betray you. The general's lips curved slightly. Heh? Such noble devotion, he said, voice laced with irony. Just then Bai Qingyin rushed over, breathless. General, are you hurt? She added earnestly, I didn't make it in time, so I just threw Ji Li over as a human shield. The general's stern expression softened. He took her hand gently. I'm fine. Don't worry. Bai Qingyin finally exhaled in relief, patting her chest. Spotting Ji Li still kneeling nearby, she teased, turns out you make a pretty good shield after all. Ji Li immediately followed up, if it means saving the general, I'd gladly give my life. Ignoring him, the general turned to his men. Search Wang Yong's body. See if you can trace his background. No one noticed the faint, sinister smile creeping across Ji Li's lips. He still had one last trick to play. Suddenly, a soldier shouted, General, there's a tattoo on his body. The general frowned as he recognized it instantly, the secret mark of the Marquis of Chongling's death core. Ji Li jumped on the moment, shouting, General, that's the emblem of the Marquis's house. He must have been sent by them. The soldiers murmured in shock. Who could be powerful enough to plant the Marquis's assassins inside the military? All eyes turned toward Bai Qingyin. Don't you dare slander me. She shouted furiously. I've got nothing to do with him. Ji Li seized the chance to twist the knife. Bai Qingyin is the Marquis of Chongling's daughter. And this assassin bears the Marquis's seal. Hard not to see the connection. Perhaps she planted him among my men to assassinate the general. Bai Qingyin's voice trembled with rage. Liar. You're the traitor. That assassin was your doing. You wanted to kill the general. Ji Li smirked, feigning calm. Oh really? You call me a traitor, then show your proof. Bai Qingyin fell silent. She had none. Ji Li pressed on, feigning righteous anger. The duel was her idea, the assassin tied to her house. General, I advise you expel her from the manor immediately. Inside, Ji Li was already celebrating. Once she's gone, the general's guard will crumble. My plan can finally begin. Bai Qingyin exploded. You bastard. The assassin's yours and you're blaming me. I'll beat that smug face off your skull. The general stepped in quickly, grabbing her arm. Enough, Bai Qingyin. Don't let anger cloud your head. Yet even as he said it, frustration simmered within him. He hadn't expected a real spy could be hiding inside his own camp. The general immediately summoned his men. Investigate Wang Yong's background thoroughly. Every detail before and after his enlistment. His tone turned icy. And don't jump to conclusions. The Marquis's code mark could have been forged, but no man can hide his tracks completely. The general's eyes locked on Ji Li. Especially you. Wang Yong was your subordinate. I trust you, but that doesn't mean you're beyond suspicion. Nor does it give you the right to accuse others. Ji Li bowed stiffly. Understood, General. Once everything was arranged, the general ordered Ji Li to return and recover, then turned to Bai Qingyin with a stern face. You come with me. Bai Qingyin lowered her head, mumbling softly, General, you sound so serious. Do you not believe me either? Ji Li, however, couldn't hide the smirk tugging at his lips. The general had clearly recognized the Marquis's code. Watching the faint doubt flicker in Song Huang's eyes, Ji Li sneered inwardly. Good. Once that seed of suspicion takes root, it'll grow on its own.